Hello and welcome. Tonight we drift together into the quiet of the cosmos. The world around you can rest now. Its noise softens, its colors fade, and above the dim horizon, a single point of starlight begins to glow. Take a slow breath in and let it fall away like the fading echo of day. Imagine yourself weightless, lying beneath an endless canopy where every spark is a distant sun. There is nothing to chase here, nothing to solve. Only the calm rhythm of space unfolding, one heartbeat at a time. The higher we rise, the more silence gathers, until the last whisper of wind fades into stillness. From this hush, the stars reveal themselves countless, patient, ancient. Each one shines with a light that has traveled for thousands or even millions of years simply to reach your eyes tonight. The thought alone can settle the mind, all that time, all that distance, and yet the light arrives exactly when you are ready to see it. As we float farther from Earth, its blue surface becomes a small sphere of calm color, surrounded by the dark sea of night. The curve of oceans, the faint white swirl of clouds, the fragile shimmer of atmosphere. These sights remind us how gentle our home truly is. In the scale of the universe, Earth is no more than a soft bead of light, yet within it are the sounds of laughter, waves, and dreams. The realization is comforting rather than frightening. We belong to something vast, but the vastness itself is peaceful. Now the constellations begin to form above us, slow patterns traced across eternity. You may recognize a few: Orion lifting his arm, Cassiopeia resting on her throne, but tonight they feel different, like quiet companions rather than stories of conquest. Their stillness carries a kind of kindness. They do not demand attention, they simply shine, the same way they have for all of human memory, inviting us to look, breathe, and let go. The deeper we gaze, the softer everything becomes. Thoughts that once hurried now drift like dust through sunlight. The body feels lighter, the breath longer, the pulse slower. The space around us is neither cold nor empty. It is full of patience, full of possibility. In this vast calm, time itself seems to loosen its grip. Seconds stretch, and the present moment feels wide enough to rest inside. So let this be our beginning, a gentle step into infinity. As you listen, let the steady flow of facts and stories carry you like a quiet tide. If your eyes grow heavy, that's perfectly fine. The universe waits. It has waited for billions of years. You can close your eyes whenever you wish and still be part of it. Tonight, curiosity is a lullaby, and the stars are its slow, endless rhythm. Out here, distance has a different meaning. The spaces between stars are not miles or numbers. They are oceans of quiet time. Imagine sailing across a sea so wide that even light, moving faster than anything we know, needs years to reach another shore. Every beam that leaves a sun drifts through this silence, carrying warmth and memory. When you look up at the night sky, you are seeing echoes of the past, light that began its journey long before you were born. The thought stretches the mind open, yet it feels strangely peaceful, because in such immensity, hurry no longer matters. If you could drift beside that light, you would see galaxies turning slowly like lanterns in a black sea. Each one holds billions of stars, and around many of those stars, planets trace gentle circles, following their endless paths without sound. The scale is impossible to truly imagine, but your mind doesn't need to. It only needs to sense the rhythm: slow, patient, eternal. The universe moves with the calm of something that has all the time it will ever need. Between those distant islands of light lies a darkness that is not empty but alive with invisible motion. Clouds of dust, thin as smoke, swirl and collapse, preparing to form new stars. Energy drifts in silent waves, and gravity hums its steady note, pulling everything toward balance. There is order even in what seems like nothingness, a quiet design that keeps the cosmos breathing. A realization is comforting. Even in darkness, there is creation at work. Think of the Milky Way, our home galaxy, as a single spiral of calm brilliance. From afar, it would appear like a slow whirlpool of silver dust. Our sun is only one spark near the edge, orbiting the center in a journey that takes more than 200 million years to complete. Yet despite that endless motion, everything feels still. The immense rotations and gravitational dances happen so slowly that they become, to us, a form of serenity, a cosmic stillness born from movement. When you allow this scale to settle in your thoughts, Small worries shrink naturally. The universe is vast beyond counting, yet it holds space for you. The same atoms that glow inside distant stars reside quietly within your body, pulsing with ancient light. In knowing this, a strange comfort arises. You are not separate from the universe. You are made of it. You have always belonged. So breathe again, softly. Picture yourself floating between those luminous spirals, surrounded by gentle radiance and endless calm. There is no edge here, no finish line. Only the slow expansion of everything that ever was. In this awareness, peace comes easily. The cosmos is beyond measure. Yet within it, you have found a moment of stillness that fits perfectly in the palm of now. Somewhere in the quiet darkness, a cloud of dust begins to move. At first it seems like nothing, just a thin veil of gas stretching for light years across the deep. But within that veil, gravity begins its slow and patient work. Particles drift together, softly colliding, gathering warmth. What looks like emptiness is in truth a cradle, where a star is slowly being born. The process takes millions of years, though to the universe, that is only a moment. Imagine time stretched thin, as if every second were a drop of honey sliding down glass. The cloud thickens, folding inward under its own weight. In the hidden center, atoms press so closely that they begin to fuse hydrogen, merging into helium, releasing light that has never shone before. A spark becomes a glow, and a glow becomes a sun. The silence breaks, but not with sound, only with radiance. If you could watch this happen safely from far away, it would not look like an explosion, but like a slow unfurling of brightness. The surrounding dust would catch the light, scattering soft colors across the void: reds, blues, purples, like watercolor spreading through darkness. Each newborn star glows with its own tone of warmth, some white and fierce, others golden and calm. Around them, disks of dust begin to spin, the early sketches of future planets. The scene is both powerful and peaceful, creation unfolding in silence. Even as new stars awaken, old ones fade. Somewhere else, a dying sun sends out its last breath, scattering elements into space: carbon, oxygen, iron, the ingredients of everything that will someday live. The death of one star seeds the birth of many more. It is a cosmic rhythm of giving and renewal, and it happens without rush, without interruption. The universe never forces creation, it simply allows it. As you picture these vast nurseries, like clouds glowing softly from within, notice how they mirror something in yourself. Thoughts, dreams, and ideas form the same way, tiny sparks gathering warmth in the quiet until they shine on their own. Perhaps that is why the story of stars feels familiar. Every one of us carries a trace of that first fusion, a quiet energy waiting to shine when the moment is right. And so, while you rest, imagine drifting through one of those luminous nebulae, the colors folding and breathing around you. Each shimmer a heartbeat, each faint light a reminder that creation is not loud. It is patient. The stars do not hurry to exist, they simply glow when they are ready. In that understanding, the mind grows still. You too are allowed to unfold in your own time, gently, like a star coming to life, in the calm of forever. Between every swirl of starlight lies a space so vast that it humbles even imagination. It is the quiet between galaxies, the deepest silence the universe has ever known. Here, no wind stirs, no sound travels. Even light takes millions of years to cross from one island of stars to the next. Yet in that silence, there is a strange kind of music, one made of stillness and patience. It is the breath of the cosmos drawn so long and slow that it feels eternal. If you could drift there, far from any star, darkness would wrap around you like the calmest ocean. There would be no up or down, no sense of motion at all, just the faint shimmer of distant galaxies, each one spinning softly, like a lantern seen across a foggy sea. The emptiness would not feel lonely. Instead, it would feel complete, like the pause between heartbeats when everything is at rest. Scientists call these immense gaps intergalactic space, but those words cannot capture how serene it truly is. It's not void, it's balance. The place where energy rests, where gravity whispers but does not pull. It is the universe taking a breath, the same way you are now. In that shared rhythm, there's comfort. The cosmos pauses, and so do you. Out here, there are faint traces of the old universe, still drifting, lonely photons, wisps of hydrogen, the quiet ashes of ancient stars. They are remnants of beginnings, scattered but not forgotten. If you could gather them, They would tell stories of explosions long past of light that once warmed newborn worlds. Even in the stillness, memory glows. The universe remembers everything gently, and yet this calm isn't emptiness at all. Invisible threads of gravity connect each galaxy to the next, forming a web too large for eyes to see. It's as if the universe itself is holding hands across eternity, each cluster joined to another by unseen lines of care. The thought of it softens something inside, the realization that even in isolation, connection endures. Nothing drifts completely alone. The space between galaxies teaches us about quiet strength. There are no bright colors, no rushing comets, no bursts of light. Only darkness so perfect it becomes luminous in its own way. It is the kind of stillness the mind longs for when the world feels too loud. So as you listen, let this cosmic silence surround your thoughts. Let every noise from your day fade into that vast, patient dark. Here, in the spaces between everything, you find rest. You realize that silence is not the absence of sound, it's the presence of peace. And like the galaxies that drift far apart, but remain forever linked, you too are suspended gently in a universe that never forgets its own harmony. From far above, Earth glows like a soft blue lantern floating in the dark. Clouds drift in slow spirals, oceans shimmer with scattered silver, and the thin curve of atmosphere wraps around it like a breath. From this distance, there are no borders, no noise, only a gentle sphere turning in silence. It is small, almost fragile, yet its beauty fills the endless night with warmth. This is home, suspended in a sea of stars. If you could watch from the quiet edge of space, you would see sunlight slide across continents in a slow, continuous wave. Dawn moves like a tide, touching mountains, deserts, and forests, before fading again into night. Every rotation is a rhythm, a steady heartbeat of time. From this far away, every storm softens, every light merges into a glow. The world looks peaceful because, at its core, it is. Beneath the noise of life, it hums with balance. Think of the oceans, vast mirrors catching moonlight, breathing clouds into the sky. Beneath those waves, countless creatures drift and shimmer, living in patterns older than memory. Forests stretch and exhale, rivers wind quietly through the land, snow melts into streams that find their way back to the sea. Every motion on Earth feels deliberate, part of an ancient cycle of giving and return. Watching it from above, one begins to understand how harmony is built, not through stillness, but through gentle movement. From this high place, you also see how delicate that harmony truly is. The atmosphere is only a paper-thin glow, a protective film that holds warmth and life. Beyond it, there is nothing but cold vacuum. Yet inside that fragile boundary blooms everything we know, every sound, every heartbeat, every dream. The realization does not bring fear, it brings gratitude. To exist on such a rare world, balanced between fire and frost, is its own quiet miracle. And then there are the lights, the faint gold and silver sparks of cities, scattered like constellations upon the surface. From orbit they resemble reflections of the stars themselves, as if Earth is trying to speak back to the sky. Each one marks a place where stories unfold, where people laugh, rest, and look upward. The distance makes every division fade. What remains is the shared glow of life. As you take this in, notice how the sight steadies the heart. The immensity of the universe no longer feels lonely when you see this small blue home shining softly in its center. You realize that everything, your breath, your thoughts, your quiet wonder is part of that same fragile light. Earth drifts in the dark, but it is never lost. It carries its warmth wherever it goes, a moving haven of calm in the vastness. So, for a moment, let your mind rest there, with the oceans, with the clouds, with that faint blue glow. Let the world's slow turning lull you. You are home, floating gently through infinity, exactly where you belong. As Earth drifts slowly behind us, the glow of its blue horizon begins to fade. The stars ahead grow brighter, sharper, more inviting. It feels as though the universe is opening a door quietly, without hurry, revealing deeper mysteries waiting just beyond sight. The silence around you is vast, yet it carries a pulse, a sense that everything is connected through invisible threads of light. This is the moment where calm becomes curiosity again, where the heart stirs softly with wonder. You float through that silence, unhurried, The last reflections of Earth shimmer faintly at your back, a reminder of warmth and belonging. Ahead lies the unknown, neither dangerous nor cold, but infinite and alive. It calls not with urgency, but with patience, as if saying, come see, come, listen. There is more to know. Every star in the distance feels like a voice, humming its own story through the dark. The mind awakens gently in this place. Questions rise like bubbles through water. How far does the light travel? What lies between those glowing points? Could other worlds, quiet and hidden, be dreaming beneath alien suns? The thoughts come not as puzzles to solve, but as gentle waves of curiosity, soft, endless, and soothing. To wonder is not to reach. It is to rest in the beauty of not knowing. A faint streak of light crosses your view, a comet, moving slowly across the void. It leaves a silver thread in its wake, dissolving after a moment into darkness. You follow its path with your eyes, and in that brief shimmer, you sense time itself passing differently out here. There is no rush, no noise, only the graceful patience of things that have always been. Wonder lives in that patience. You realize that curiosity and calm are not opposites. They are twins, sharing the same quiet breath. To be curious is to stay awake within peace, to let your thoughts wander softly without breaking the stillness. The universe does not demand attention. Every glimmer, every distant motion is an invitation to dream while awake. As you continue drifting, the stars seem to rearrange themselves into new constellations, as though they know the story is just beginning. The air, if there were any, would feel lighter now, charged with the hush before discovery. Your thoughts slow but widen, ready to travel wherever the next light leads. Behind you, Earth remains a gentle memory. Ahead, the universe unfolds like a vast, starry page. You have not left home, you have carried it with you. The same calm that filled those oceans now fills the space between galaxies. And as the final whisper of blue fades from sight, a new radiance begins to rise. The stars grow brighter, closer, as if leaning forward to tell their secrets. You are ready to listen, peacefully, awake inside the quiet infinite. The journey continues. Light begins everywhere and nowhere at once. It drifts across the universe like a quiet traveler, carrying memories of stars, planets, and ages long gone. To the eye, it seems simple. A glow, a shimmer, a sunrise breaking the dark. But beneath that softness lies something timeless. Energy that moves without rest, connecting everything it touches. When we follow light, we follow the heartbeat of the cosmos itself. Imagine a single photon leaving the surface of a distant star. It slips free from heat and gravity, racing into the deep. For thousands, sometimes millions of years, it travels alone through darkness, so complete that even silence would seem loud. Yet it never tires. It passes dust clouds, frozen comets, and invisible waves of magnetism, unchanged and unbroken. And then, at the perfect instant, it arrives, striking your eyes, awakening your awareness to the ancient moment it began. That tiny spark carries history across time. If you could see light not as brightness, but as a story, you'd realize how patient it is. Every beam that touches the earth began its journey long before any human breath, perhaps before the first oceans formed. It wandered freely through a universe, still learning to exist. The sunlight warming your face today may have left its source 8 minutes ago, yet it feels immediate, proof that light erases distance in ways the mind can barely grasp. Scientists call light both a wave and a particle, but such terms can't capture its quiet beauty. In truth, it behaves like music, rhythm and vibration expressed through color. When light bends through water, it scatters into rainbows, each hue a note in a cosmic symphony. Red hums softly, long and low, blue sings higher, sharp and pure. Every color you've ever seen is light's voice, finding a new way to be heard. Light is also the first artist. It paints the morning sky, shapes the shadows of mountains, glows on the edge of clouds, and traces the outline of every face. It defines reality, not through weight or texture, but through presence. Without it, even time feels incomplete. With it, the world wakes. And yet, despite its importance, light remains gentle. It touches everything but leaves no scar. It fills space without pushing it aside. It gives warmth, reveals form, and then fades softly when night returns. There's something deeply comforting in that rhythm, the rise and fall of illumination, the steady promise that darkness is never permanent. As you picture these waves drifting through infinity, notice how your breath matches their pace. Inhale as light begins its journey, exhale as it reaches its destination. Somewhere in that rhythm, curiosity and calm merge into one. Light, after all, is not only what we see, it is what allows us to keep dreaming, even when our eyes are closed. Light is the swiftest traveler we know. It crosses space not in steps, but in silent waves, a rhythm so fast that distance and time blur into one. At nearly 300,000 kilometers each second, a single beam could circle Earth 7 times before you finish a slow breath. Yet, what makes light extraordinary isn't just its speed, it's what that speed does to everything around it. In the language of physics, light is not just fast, it is the limit. Nothing can move quicker, and so the universe itself bends its rules around that truth. Imagine for a moment that you could ride upon a ray of light. As you drift forward, the universe would begin to change. Time, which usually ticks so reliably, would stretch thin like honey drawn from a spoon. Seconds would lengthen. Motion itself would soften. The faster you approach light's pace, the slower time becomes. For light, there is no passage of time at all. A photon leaves a star and arrives at your eye in what feels, to it, like an instant. Even if that journey took billions of years in our world of slower clocks, the thought is peaceful in a strange way. The cosmos holds within it a traveler that never grows old. Every dawn, when sunlight touches your window, that glow is the memory of a moment from the past, perhaps from before your life began. And yet it arrives fresh and present, as if time folded just to deliver warmth to this morning. Light is the bridge between what was and what is. It teaches patience and constancy. When scientists first realized that nothing can outrun light, they also learned that speed and time are entwined. The faster we move, the slower our clocks tick. It means the universe has a built-in mercy. Those who wander far will always experience their journey more slowly, as if the cosmos itself wants them to savor it. There is no hurry in the fabric of existence, only motion balanced by time's gentle elasticity. If you close your eyes, you can almost feel that rhythm, the steady hum of photons racing past, each one carrying stories from distant suns. They travel not with effort, but with ease, untouched by resistance. In that simplicity lies serenity. The same light that once touched the surface of ancient stars now brushes your skin. You are part of its endless voyage, connected through brightness and time. So, let the idea of light move through you softly, not as a flash or a blaze, but as a quiet traveler reminding you that even the fastest things in the universe flow with calm purpose. There is no rush in the cosmic journey, only a steady rhythm, timeless and kind, illuminating the path between every heartbeat and every star. Time is often imagined as a straight line, a quiet path stretching endlessly forward. But perhaps it is more like a river, moving, bending, flowing around unseen corners. It carries us whether we swim or drift, yet it never rushes. Every moment is a ripple, blending softly into the next, forming a current that cannot be stopped, but also never demands to be. When you listen closely, you can almost hear it, the hush of seconds sliding past like water over smooth stones. In this river of time, each of us floats at our own pace. For some, the current feels swift, days rushing by in bright flashes. For others, it feels slow and deep, as though each hour takes its time to pass. Yet the river itself never changes speed. What changes is how we feel it, how we notice the flow. Just as the moon shapes the tide, our awareness shapes the rhythm of our days. When we are calm, time widens. When we are hurried, it narrows. The universe, too, drifts along its own great current. Stars are born, shine and fade. Galaxies turn in their vast orbits. Even the atoms that make you are caught in time's invisible motion. And still, in this endless flow, there is peace. Because time does not race, it glides. It has no need to arrive anywhere. It is always now, and now, and now again. Imagine standing beside a wide, slow-moving river under starlight. The surface shimmers with the reflection of the sky, every glint a tiny echo of the cosmos above. You toss a pebble into the water and watch the ripples drift outward, fading into calm. That ripple is your moment, brief, gentle, and part of something far larger than itself. Even when it disappears, its influence continues in ways unseen. Scientists tell us that time bends with gravity, stretching and slowing near massive stars. To them, it's a phenomenon of physics. To the heart, it feels like poetry. Time is patient where gravity is strong, as if the universe itself takes a deeper breath around its heaviest places. And perhaps that is a lesson. Even the cosmos slows down when the weight is great. So as you listen, imagine time not as something to chase or measure, but as something that flows around you, carrying you safely onward. You don't have to keep up with it. You are already part of its rhythm. Like a leaf resting gently on the surface of a stream, you can simply float. The current will do the rest. And as it carries you, notice how quiet it is, how steady, how kind. This is time's true nature, a gentle movement, neither hurried nor still, always leading you softly forward toward whatever peace lies just beyond the next bend. Long before stars were born, before planets had names or oceans had tides, the universe was a soft, glowing mist, warm, dense, and newborn. Then, in a moment beyond memory, it began to expand. That moment was not a bang as much as a blooming, an unfolding of everything that would ever be. The energy from that first breath still lingers even now, whispering faintly across space. Scientists call it the cosmic microwave background. The oldest light in existence, a quiet echo from the beginning of time. It is not a light you can see with your eyes. It hums invisibly in every direction, a gentle static woven into the fabric of the cosmos. When astronomers first detected it, they realized they were listening to the universe's own lullaby, a soundless song left over from creation itself. Every point in the sky glows faintly with that memory, as if the stars still remember their first sunrise. Imagine lying beneath the night sky, feeling that ancient warmth brush lightly against your skin. Though it has cooled over billions of years, it still touches you, softly, through every photon that reaches Earth. The same energy that once filled all of space now passes quietly through you, as gentle as breath. It connects everything that ever was, from the first atoms to this very moment. The thought brings comfort, that we are, in a way, made from an echo, living inside the faint afterglow of creation. The universe carries its past like a song with no end. Galaxies form, stars ignite, worlds awaken, but beneath all the change, that hum continues, steady and serene. It is the background rhythm of existence, a cosmic heartbeat that never stops. Even as the universe expands, stretching light into longer, softer wavelengths, the melody remains. It grows fainter, cooler, like a song being sung into sleep. If you could listen closely enough, beyond every sound you might hear it not as noise, but as peace. The sound of everything simply being. In that silence lies a kind of reassurance. The universe began in light, and that light still lingers. Nothing that once existed ever truly disappears. It only transforms, softening over time into something quieter, more enduring. So as you rest tonight, imagine that you are hearing those echoes, not with your ears, but with your heart. They are older than stars, older than time as we know it, yet they reach you here and now, crossing eternity just to arrive in this instant. The cosmos has been whispering its story for nearly 14 billion years, and you are part of its gentle continuation. Every breath, every thought, every dream is another small echo, soft, endless, and beautifully alive. When you drift into sleep, the mind begins its own quiet journey through time. A single dream can seem to last hours, yet in waking life it might pass in only a few moments. Within that mystery lies something familiar to the universe itself, the gentle bending of time. Just as gravity and motion can stretch seconds into years among the stars, so too can the dreaming mind reshape moments into stories. In the stillness of rest, you become your own little cosmos, where time flows according to feeling, not the clock. Einstein once described time and space as threads of a single fabric, curving and folding together. Dreams seem to do the same. They bend the rules, letting us move from one memory to another in the span of a heartbeat. Mountains can rise, stars can bloom, and the past can greet the present as easily as breath meets air. Inside a dream, the universe obeys the language of emotion, not measurement. It is as if your mind borrows a page from the cosmos. The same gentle elasticity that lets galaxies drift through eternity also lets you travel within yourself. Consider how a dream slows when you are calm, and how it rushes when emotion stirs. This mirrors how time behaves near great masses of energy or speed. In deep relaxation, both body and universe agree. Time softens, stretches, becomes kind. Every slow heartbeat, Every gentle breath is a small act of relativity, the art of existing outside hurry. The deeper you sleep, the more space seems to open inside your thoughts. It is a vastness not of stars, but of imagination, an inner sky where memories and possibilities shimmer together. Some dreams bring familiar faces, others take you to worlds that never were, yet feel real as light. Perhaps this is the universe speaking through you, using its own laws in miniature. The same way light can exist as both wave and particle. A dream can be both real and unreal, both fleeting and eternal. If you've ever awakened from a dream that felt like a lifetime, you've touched that paradox yourself. In those moments, your consciousness expands, unbound by the narrow flow of waking time. It's a reminder that the boundaries we sense are softer than they appear. The mind, like space, is wide enough to hold eternity within a heartbeat. So as you listen, allow that truth to settle gently in you. Dreams and the cosmos are reflections of the same mystery, places where time bends to create meaning. Each night, as you fall asleep, you perform your own quiet act of relativity, stepping into a realm where moments unfold as slowly or swiftly as they need to. There, beyond all clocks and calendars, you find the purest kind of freedom, the calm, infinite drift of the dreaming universe. Light has always been the quiet thread connecting every story we've told so far. It carried us from the birth of the universe to this very moment, gliding through the rivers of time and across the boundaries of dreams. As one chapter fades into the next, it is light that guides the way, soft, patient, and eternal. It never demands attention, yet it reveals everything. It asks for nothing, yet it gives meaning to the dark. Imagine yourself floating once more in the open calm of space. Around you, the glow of 1,000 stars paints faint reflections across invisible waves. Each glimmer seems still, yet each one is in motion, spinning, expanding, living its silent life across the eons. Light connects them all, like threads of gold woven through an endless tapestry. You are part of that pattern, suspended gently in its glow. As you drift, the light around you changes, not fading but shifting. It stretches into softer colors, reds and ambers, as though preparing the universe for rest. This is what happens as stars move away from us. Their light lengthens, whispering through longer wavelengths, turning energy into calm. Even the cosmos in its vastness knows how to slow down. It exhales in light, releasing brilliance into peace. If you listen closely, you might sense that this transition mirrors something within yourself. Every thought, every worry, begins as a bright spark, sharp and clear. But with time and stillness, it softens, fades, and becomes part of the wider calm. Just as light becomes gentler as it travels farther, the mind too can let its brightness mellow into serenity. There is beauty in that dimming, a graceful kind of surrender. Somewhere ahead, beyond the gentle haze, lies a cluster of distant worlds. Planets circling suns you cannot yet see. Their light is faint but steady, waiting to be discovered. They shimmer like possibilities, calling softly, inviting curiosity back into the quiet. You begin to sense their presence, not as urgency, but as wonder gently awakening again. This is how the universe teaches balance, illumination and rest, curiosity and calm, all part of the same cycle. Light travels endlessly, but it also pauses, absorbed by dust, scattered by clouds, reborn in reflection. In that rhythm lies the secret of continuity, the art of never truly stopping. So before we drift onward toward new worlds and distant orbits, take one last slow breath beneath this cosmic glow. Let the light fade softly around you until only its warmth remains, not seen, but felt. The universe will keep shining. You only need to rest within it. And as this chapter closes, the next one quietly begins, waiting just beyond the horizon of light. As the light from distant stars fades into a softer glow, shapes begin to appear, spheres suspended in darkness, each turning slowly in the silence of space. These are the planets, the gentle dancers of the cosmic waltz. They move not in haste, but in endless rhythm, tracing invisible circles around their suns. Each one is unique, carrying its own colors, its own weather, its own quiet song. Yet together, they form a harmony so steady, it feels like breath itself, a calm repetition that continues for billions of years. From afar, the solar system is a masterpiece of balance. The planets drift in order, neither colliding nor straying too far. Mercury races close to the Sun, while Neptune glides far beyond, each orbiting as though guided by an unseen pulse. There is peace in this precision, a serenity born from gravity's invisible hand. Even chaos has been tamed here into elegance. Imagine watching them from a place of stillness, far above the plane of their orbits. You would see circles within circles, paths glowing faintly in reflected light. The Sun, a soft golden center, illuminates each traveler with just enough warmth to reveal its texture and color. Earth's blues and whites, Mars's dusty red, Saturn's pale gold. There is no noise in this motion, no sound of turning, only the graceful hush of movement that never ceases. Each planet carries a history written not in words, but in patterns. Storms that have lasted centuries, canyons deeper than oceans, clouds that shimmer like marble. Time here is vast, yet patient. The winds of Jupiter have been swirling since before humanity's first breath. On Mars, dust settles in the same places it did long before the first sunrise on Earth. These worlds do not hurry to change. They evolve with the patience of eternity. And as you watch, something in their stillness begins to reflect back into you. The planets remind us that motion need not mean restlessness. They keep moving, yet they are calm, constant yet unhurried. Their rhythm is the rhythm of the universe itself, slow, deliberate, unending. It's a quiet kind of perfection, one that invites your thoughts to drift at the same steady pace. So let yourself orbit with them softly, silently. Feel the balance of motion and stillness, gravity and grace. You are part of this same cosmic order, one small traveler, spinning gently through space and time. And in that realization, peace settles naturally, like dust finding its place after the wind has passed. Far beyond the warmth of our Sun, two immense worlds drift in slow majesty, Jupiter and Saturn. They are not solid like Earth, but vast spheres of gas and cloud, swirling in colors that shift and fade like watercolor in motion. Their storms are ancient, their rings and bands like fingerprints left by time itself. Yet despite their enormity, there is no aggression in their power. They move with grace, protecting the smaller worlds within the solar system's reach. The quiet guardians of our cosmic neighborhood, Jupiter, the largest of them all, glows with a muted amber light. Beneath its clouds lies a core hidden deeper than any ocean, surrounded by layers of hydrogen, so thick they turn liquid under pressure. It spins faster than any other planet, yet its rapid motion feels more like a slow, steady pulse than a rush. The great red spot, that endless storm the size of Earth, has been swirling for centuries, an eternal dance of wind and color. But even in its violence, there's rhythm. The motion is hypnotic, not chaotic, powerful, yet strangely peaceful. Saturn follows, adorned with its delicate rings, a masterpiece of cosmic beauty. From afar, they appear solid, smooth, almost ethereal. But up close, they're made of countless fragments of ice and rock, each one catching sunlight for a brief moment before disappearing back into shadow. These rings drift like frozen whispers, orbiting with quiet precision. Saturn's golden hue and pale bands give it a regal calm. Not fiery like Jupiter, but serene, like a monarch lost in deep thought. Their immense gravity shields the inner planets, drawing in wandering comets and asteroids that might otherwise strike Earth. In their presence, we sense protection, the way a calm parent might stand at the edge of a sleeping child's room, watchful but never intrusive. The universe, even in its vastness, seems to arrange itself with care. If you could stand nearby, you would hear nothing, not the roar of wind, nor the clash of storms. The silence would be total, and in that silence, awe would bloom. Watching these planets turn would feel like observing time itself in motion. Slow, deliberate, unending. Let their presence remind you that strength can be gentle. True guardianship is quiet, enduring, and steady. The gas giants show that even the most immense forces of nature can exist in harmony. As they continue their eternal orbit, they do not rush. They simply move with the rhythm of the cosmos, a reminder that stillness and power often live in the same breath. So rest here for a moment, beneath their calm protection. Let Jupiter's warmth and Saturn's rings drift through your thoughts like dreams made of light. The guardians are awake, and in their watchful peace, you can finally rest. Beyond the glow of Saturn's rings, sunlight begins to fade. The warmth of the inner solar system gives way to quiet cold, and in that dimness two distant worlds move with patient grace, Uranus and Neptune, the frozen wanderers. They drift so far from the sun that light reaches them only as a pale memory, softened and blue. These planets are vast, yet subdued, slow giants of silence, wrapped in mist and shadow. Uranus turns on its side, a planet that seems to dream as it spins. Its poles face the sun in long seasons of endless day and night, each lasting decades. For 40 years, one hemisphere glows faintly beneath the sun's pale touch, while the other sleeps in darkness. Then slowly they trade places, like a cosmic heartbeat stretched across time. There is poetry in that rhythm, a world that takes its time to turn, patient in its solitude. Its color is a calm turquoise, soft and serene, as if painted from the light of distant oceans. Clouds drift slowly across its surface, almost invisible, moving in silence through a sea of methane and wind. Nothing here is hurried. The planet spins, the seasons shift, and time continues as a whisper. To stand beneath such a sky, if one could, would be to feel what eternity might sound like, not loud but infinitely still. Farther still lies Neptune, the outermost sentinel of our system. Its winds are the fastest in the solar system, yet even they move in silence. Deep blue and shadowed, Neptune glows like a lantern at the edge of night. Storms swirl across its face, dark and circular, forming and fading like thoughts. The planet's color is deeper than Uranus's, a blue so profound, it feels almost liquid, as though space itself pooled around it. Here at the edge of sunlight, the feeling changes. The quiet is thicker, heavier. The warmth of the sun feels more like memory than presence, and yet there is beauty in that distance. These worlds remind us that even in the coldest reaches of existence, grace persists. They keep to their paths faithfully, never long, companions in the great silence. As you drift beside them, imagine the view, stars so bright they cast faint shadows on the frozen clouds, the faint whisper of invisible winds circling endlessly. The frozen wanderers move through darkness without fear, their calmness born not from heat, but from acceptance. They are the dreamers of the solar system, patient, enduring, and eternal. So let their stillness become yours. Feel how peace can exist even in the farthest places, where warmth is rare and time is slow. The universe is vast, but it carries quiet hearts within it, worlds that ask for nothing but to turn gently in the soft light of forever. Far beyond the familiar shimmer of Earth's seas, hidden beneath sheets of ancient ice, lie other oceans, vast, silent, and unseen. They exist not on Earth, but on distant moons orbiting the gas giants. Beneath their frozen crusts, these secret waters move in eternal darkness, warmed by the quiet pull of gravity. Each one is a world within a world, sleeping, waiting, alive with the soft hum of possibility. Take Europa, one of Jupiter's many moons. From above, it appears like a smooth sphere of glass, veined with delicate cracks that glint in the faint sunlight. But beneath that ice, kilometers thick, lies an ocean deeper than any on Earth. It is warmed not by a sunbeam, but by the gentle flexing of the moon itself, stretched and squeezed as it orbits its giant planet. That motion creates heat, enough to keep water liquid, enough to keep it breathing in silence. Imagine waves that have never seen the sky, drifting in eternal twilight, a sea without surface, without sound. Then there is Enceladus, circling Saturn, like a pearl set against its golden rings. From its south pole, plumes of water burst into space, glittering like frozen fireworks. Each plume is a message from the ocean below, proof that beneath the ice, something stirs. Scientists believe these hidden waters could hold the ingredients for life, heat, minerals, and the endless patience of time. In the quiet beneath that frozen shell, there may exist currents and tides that have flowed for billions of years, untouched by light, untouched by noise. It is humbling to think that the universe hides such wonders in places we can barely see. These moons are small, fragile, and cold, yet within them might lie stories as old as the stars. The idea is soothing, that even in isolation, life can find warmth, that beneath stillness, motion continues. Beneath silence, songs are sung that no one has yet heard. As you picture these oceans, imagine yourself floating just beneath the ice, surrounded by soft light filtering through crystal layers. Above you, distant stars blur into faint colors. Below you, the water glows with bioluminescent whispers. It's a place both alien and comforting, strange yet familiar to the dreaming mind. Perhaps these oceans are reminders that life and peace are not bound to sunlight. They exist in shadow too, in hidden depths where patience replaces sound. The universe, in all its vastness, holds more warmth than we can see. And as you drift through this thought, let it settle in your mind like a quiet tide, calm, endless, and full of gentle wonder. In the quiet realm of Saturn, beauty moves in circles. Its rings stretch wide across the darkness, thin as whispers and delicate as frost. From a distance, they appear solid, perfect bands of light suspended in space. But up close, they reveal their true nature, countless fragments of ice and dust, each one reflecting the sun's glow for a brief, shimmering moment before vanishing back into shadow. Together they create one of the most graceful sights in the cosmos, a dance of light and silence that has continued for hundreds of millions of years. These rings are not still. They ripple with subtle waves, stirred by Saturn's many moons as they pass nearby. Every movement sends faint patterns through the ice, like breath across the surface of calm water. Yet even in motion, the rings remain peaceful. They never clash, never rush. Each particle follows its path, obeying gravity's gentle command. There is order here, but it is not rigid. It flows, just as music does, perfectly balanced between repetition and variation. When sunlight touches the rings, they glow like soft silk. But when Saturn turns and night falls across them, they fade into ghostly outlines, silver and dim. Shadows stretch across their curves, slow and silent, painting the planet's surface in drifting lines. The contrast between light and dark feels almost alive, as if the universe itself were exhaling. Every orbit, every shadow, every reflection happens without noise, without struggle, only grace. Sometimes when the rings cast their thin shadows across Saturn's clouds, they form faint halos that shimmer and dissolve like memories. To watch this from afar would be to witness serenity in motion, the perfect blend of stillness and change. It is a reminder that beauty often exists not in permanence, but in the way light moves through time. Astronomers believe these rings may one day fade away, their particles pulled into Saturn or scattered into the dark. But perhaps that impermanence is part of their calm. Like all things in the cosmos, they exist for a while, shining quietly, then return to the greater silence from which they came. The rings do not mourn their transience. They simply glow while they can, as all light does. So as you drift here, imagine the faint hum of those icy fragments, circling endlessly in quiet rhythm. Let their balance and symmetry steady your thoughts. The universe does not hurry its beauty. It allows it to unfold, slowly, patiently, in spirals of grace. And within that motion, between the rings and their shadows, you might sense a reflection of yourself, calm, luminous, and fleeting, yet part of something infinite. As the rings of Saturn fade behind you, their glow slowly dissolving into the dark. A quiet stillness takes hold again. You drift farther outward, where sunlight softens into memory, and the stars begin to feel closer than the warmth you've left behind. The vastness ahead is both infinite and tender, like the pause between heartbeats. It's here, in this calm expanse, that the known world begins to loosen its boundaries, and curiosity awakens once more. The planets, those graceful dancers of the solar system, now shrink into points of light. They form a small family of brightness around the sun, a flickering warmth in the endless sea. From this distance, you see their orbits as glowing threads weaving through the dark like strands of silk. Each one continues its path, unaware of being watched, content simply to exist. There is peace in their constancy. Beyond them lies the boundary where the solar wind fades, a thin region known as the heliopause. Here, the breath of our sun meets the deeper breath of interstellar space. The particles slow, the magnetic fields soften, and the sound of the cosmos grows impossibly quiet. This is not an ending, but a crossing, a gentle threshold between the warmth of home and the cool infinity beyond. If you listen closely, you can almost feel the change. The light grows cooler, the stars seem sharper, and the emptiness becomes more alive. You are leaving the familiar, but not in haste. The journey is slow, steady, rhythmic. Each passing moment feels like a deep breath taken by the universe itself. Inhale, exhale, expansion, stillness. It's natural to feel wonder at what lies ahead. Somewhere in the distance, new suns are being born, new worlds spinning into place. Their light has not yet reached us, but it will, in time. The universe has no urgency. It moves at the pace of eternity. You too can rest in that rhythm. You do not need to know every destination. You only need to drift, to trust that every step or every orbit leads deeper into calm understanding. As the solar system fades to a faint shimmer behind you, let your gaze rest on the horizon of stars ahead. Their light is ancient, yet their glow feels new. Between them lies the mystery of the beyond, a realm not of chaos, but of infinite quiet. You are crossing into it now, softly, like a sigh falling into silence. And as this chapter closes, carry with you the memory of motion without hurry, discovery without fear. Ahead lies the unknown, not dark, but peaceful, like a dream continuing without end. Beyond the edge of our solar system, beyond the faint hum of our sun's reach, there are other stars, each one a distant home to worlds we cannot see. They drift in patterns, too far away for the naked eye, hidden behind the shimmer of light that conceals their presence. Yet astronomers have found them, not by sight, but by rhythm, the tiniest wobbles in a star's motion, the faint dimming of its glow as a planet passes in front of it. These are the signs of unseen worlds, moving in silence across the vast eternal dark. There are more of them than we ever imagined. For every star, there may be planets, some as small as our moon, others larger than Jupiter. They orbit in peace, circling suns that burn softly in colors we may never witness directly. Each one holds its own sky, its own horizon, its own quiet possibility. The universe, it seems, is not empty but overflowing with homes we will never touch, with oceans and clouds that exist only in the imagination. It is humbling to know that even though we cannot see them, they are there. Countless worlds, each one turning in its quiet path. Some circle their stars closely, glowing with heat and light. Others drift in colder shadows, where the sun's warmth is only a memory. Yet all of them move according to the same cosmic rhythm that governs us: gravity, time, and patience. To search for these planets is to listen more than to look. Scientists watch for small pauses in light, tiny dips that tell them something has passed before a distant sun. In those pauses they hear stories, worlds hidden behind brilliance, waiting to be known. It's a poetic irony. Sometimes we find the most profound things not in what shines, but in what briefly dims. And so, we dream of these invisible places. We imagine the texture of their skies, the color of their oceans, the way their moons might glow. Perhaps somewhere on a distant shore of another star, there are beings who look toward their night sky and wonder the same things we do. Perhaps like us, they too fall asleep under starlight, carried by the same ancient curiosity. As you drift through this thought, let the vastness feel comforting, not cold. The unknown is not emptiness, it is possibility. Every unseen world is a reminder that beauty does not need to be witnessed to exist. The cosmos is full of silent stories, all unfolding at once, all in their own gentle time. So close your eyes for a moment and picture the unseen, endless worlds spinning quietly in the dark. You may never see them, but you are already part of their story. Among the countless worlds drifting around distant suns, there is a special place, a narrow ring of comfort where warmth and coolness meet in perfect balance. Astronomers call it the habitable zone, but it is often known by a gentler name, the Goldilocks zone. Not too hot, not too cold, a region where water can flow, where clouds might gather, where life in its quiet patience could take hold. In the vast silence of space, such balance feels miraculous. Imagine a planet floating through this temperate calm, warmed just enough by its star to let oceans shimmer and winds move softly across its surface. Its days might unfold in long golden light, its nights beneath skies filled with steady stars. Here, the conditions of life are not forced but allowed, gentle, steady, and kind. Earth, our home, rests in this delicate space. We orbit at the distance where sunlight turns into comfort, where oceans neither boil nor freeze. It is easy to forget how fragile that harmony is, how thin the boundary between warmth and cold, how lucky our small world is to drift in the perfect rhythm of its sun. The Goldilocks zone is not just a place, it is an idea that in a universe of extremes, peace can still exist. Around other stars, countless planets may rest within their own gentle zones. Some circle small, cool suns that glow red and dim. Others orbit bright white giants, their days long and their years brief. Each system holds its own balance, its own version of just right. And though we may never visit them, The knowledge that they exist is comforting. It tells us that life's potential and serenity's pattern repeat across the cosmos. When astronomers study these regions, they are not only searching for life, but for reassurance, proof that the universe nurtures gentleness as much as grandeur. To find a planet in its Goldilocks zone is to glimpse the universe's softer side, its quiet inclination toward balance. As you listen, imagine floating above one of these calm worlds. Below you, oceans shimmer beneath thin clouds. The wind stirs gently through unseen forests. There is no noise, only the slow hum of existence, the breath of a planet at rest. Somewhere, perhaps, a creature stirs, its heart beating in time with the same cosmic rhythm that beats within you. The Goldilocks zone reminds us that perfection need not be grand. It can be simple, a distance, a temperature, a quiet alignment of forces that makes life possible. Balance is not stillness, it is movement in harmony. The Earth knows this, and so does the universe. And as you drift among the stars, you can feel it too. That soft, golden warmth of being exactly where you're meant to be. Imagine standing on the surface of a world that circles another sun. The light there would fall differently. Not the familiar gold of Earth, but perhaps a cooler blue, or a soft red glow that turns every shadow warm. The air, if there is any, would carry strange scents of minerals and frost. The sky might be painted in hues we have no names for, colors that shift with each breath of wind. Yet beneath it all there would be the same quiet rhythm, the pulse of a planet turning, the hush of time continuing. On some of these distant worlds, clouds might gather in slow spirals, reflecting light across endless plains. On others, thick mists might roll like oceans through canyons deeper than mountains. Perhaps the sun there never truly sets, circling endlessly near the horizon, casting long twilight across an alien landscape. The thought is soothing, that even in strangeness, there can be beauty and peace. Each planet writes its own story in the colors of its sky. Some glow beneath twin suns, their days bright and endless. Others orbit faint red dwarfs, living in eternal dusk. The light changes, but the feeling remains, a quiet continuity, as if the universe paints its calm across every world it creates. Wherever light falls, it carries the same promise, warmth, awareness, and the gentle rhythm of life waiting to begin. There are worlds where the skies may shimmer, with particles of crystal, scattering light into rainbows that never fade. Others might hold clouds of methane or ammonia, pale and heavy, moving in silence. Some may have rings close enough to cast faint shadows that drift like ribbons across their surface. Every possibility is another verse in the song of creation, repeating softly across galaxies. To imagine these skies is not to yearn for distance, but to find comfort in connection. Each planet, however foreign, follows the same universal laws: gravity, light, time. The same forces that cradle Earth cradle them as well. In that way, we are not observers of the cosmos, but participants. We breathe with it, think with it, dream with it. The skies above those faraway worlds, and the one above you tonight, are part of the same eternal dome. So, close your eyes and picture an alien horizon stretching endlessly before you. The light glows softly on distant hills. Clouds drift in slow motion, unhurried by time. You are not a visitor there. You are home, as much as anywhere in this vast and patient universe. The unknown is not foreign. It is simply another shape of calm, another sky beneath which the same peace waits to be found. There are places in the universe where the rain is made not of water, but of diamonds. Far from Earth, deep within the atmospheres of Neptune and Uranus, pressure builds so high that carbon atoms are pressed together until they harden into crystals. In the endless storms of those frozen worlds, diamonds fall silently through dark blue skies, glittering fragments drifting through clouds, sinking toward the unseen depths below. It sounds like fantasy, yet it is real, a quiet miracle of chemistry and gravity. Imagine standing safely within that atmosphere. The clouds above you shimmer faintly, heavy with hidden jewels. There is no thunder, no flash of light, only slow, endless rain. Each diamond forms from heat and pressure, then drifts downward like snow that never melts. The planet itself glows faintly beneath the haze, illuminated by energy born deep within. Everything moves with the patience of eternity, calm, unhurried, perfectly balanced. The thought of diamond rain feels both wondrous and peaceful. It reminds us that beauty can exist in places untouched by light, that creation does not need an audience to be magnificent. The universe shapes art in silence, sculpting, polishing, renewing, whether or not anyone is there to see. On those distant worlds, storms that would crush ships and mountains create instead a gentle glitter, hidden forever beneath layers of cloud. Even here on Earth, diamonds tell a similar story. They form deep beneath our feet, where pressure and time work slowly, invisibly, to turn darkness into brilliance. The same process happens on a grander scale across the cosmos. The difference is only distance. Everywhere, the universe transforms, turning chaos into order, pressure into grace. It is easy to think of storms as violent things, as turmoil and noise. But perhaps on a cosmic level, they are simply change in motion, energy seeking balance, just as we do when we breathe through uncertainty. On Neptune, the storm becomes beauty. On Earth, it becomes growth. In both, the lesson is the same. Within great pressure lies creation, and within darkness, light is waiting to fall. As you drift through this thought, picture the diamond rain continuing endlessly, falling in silence through layers of deep blue. Each gem catches faint light as it descends, sparkling once before vanishing into the warm glow below. The storm never ends, and that is its peace, an eternal rhythm, neither beginning nor conclusion, only transformation. So rest in that image, Professor, an ocean of quiet, a sky of diamonds, and gravity itself playing the slowest, most graceful song. Even in the farthest places, beauty blooms softly. It doesn't shout, it falls. In the quiet of space there is no sound, yet everything moves as if following a silent song. The planets, the moons, the comets, all of them drift in rhythm, their paths shaped by gravity's invisible melody. Each orbit is a note, each revolution a verse in the great composition of the cosmos. The music is not heard with the ear but felt with the soul, a harmony of motion and stillness that never falters, never rushes. If you could see this music, you would find beauty in its simplicity. Planets trace graceful curves, circling their stars in patterns of perfect proportion. The smaller bodies move faster, dancing near the warmth of the light, while the giants move slowly, carrying their moons like soft chimes around them. Together, they create an unending rhythm, a vast cosmic waltz that has continued since time began. Mathematicians once believed that this order was divine music, the music of the spheres. They imagined that each orbit produced a tone too pure for human ears, a vibration woven into the structure of existence. And though we cannot hear it, the idea still feels true. The balance of forces, the symmetry of movement, the gentle pull that keeps everything connected, it all behaves like harmony. Gravity conducts the universe, and everything follows its quiet direction. Even chaos, when seen from far enough away, reveals its rhythm. Comets swing in long arcs, returning after centuries to the same familiar paths. Asteroids drift in clusters, caught in the steady pulse of larger worlds. Nothing is truly random. Everything finds its place in the tempo of infinity. It is a dance so slow that only patience can perceive it, a song so vast that only silence can contain it. If you close your eyes, you might feel that same pattern within yourself. The heartbeat, the breath, the rise and fall of thought, all of them move in time, guided by unseen order. The body, too, is an orbit, a planet of its own, turning through moments, spinning through days. Every inhale is a revolution, every exhale a return. You have always been part of the same harmony. The music of orbits teaches us that stillness and motion can exist together. A planet moves endlessly, but feels no hurry. A star burns for billions of years, but never tires. The universe flows not through effort, but through balance, and in that balance there is peace. So, as you listen, let this silent symphony settle around you. Picture the planets gliding through their timeless circles, each one keeping perfect time without ever making a sound. The music is still playing. It always has been. And tonight, you are part of its melody. The music of the orbits fades, not because it ends, but because it merges into something greater. As you drift outward, the glow of planets dims, and ahead, a million faint lights begin to appear. Stars scattered like whispers across the dark fill the horizon until there is no horizon at all. You are leaving the realm of worlds and entering the quiet sea from which they were born. Here, everything feels softer. The distance between each star is immeasurable, yet the space itself feels alive. woven together by light too faint to see but strong enough to bind galaxies. You move through it slowly, as though passing through a tide made of silence and radiance. Every shimmer carries a story, the echo of a star long gone, or the first pulse of one just awakening. Time stretches thin, like golden thread. As your eyes adjust, the darkness reveals its depth. What once looked empty now seems full, filled with patience, filled with light. The stars no longer feel distant. They feel near, familiar, almost gentle. They are not scattered points, but companions glowing softly in an infinite night. Each one burns not in noise or violence, but in grace, fusing atoms, giving warmth, sustaining the delicate balance of existence. In their light, you can sense the passage of everything: birth, growth, decay, renewal. Each flicker tells of a process older than memory, yet ongoing in this very moment. The light that touches you now may have begun its journey before the first human thought, before the first ocean tide, and still it arrives. The universe delivers its message of endurance with every photon that reaches your eyes. You drift past invisible boundaries, where the solar wind gives way to starlight, where the rhythm of our small system blends with the rhythm of all others. It feels like exhaling after holding your breath for a very long time. There is no fear here, no loneliness, only vastness, and within it, serenity. As you look outward, you notice that the stars do not compete. They shine together, each contributing to the soft glow that fills the void. They exist not as rivals, but as notes in a universal harmony, their light crossing paths, blending, becoming one. Perhaps this is what peace looks like on the grandest scale: countless points of energy coexisting quietly, illuminating one another. So let this light surround you now, soft and endless. Let it become your sky. The planets fade into memory, the orbits into rest, but the starlight remains calm, ancient, and welcoming. Beyond it lies more to explore, but for now, you are safe here, floating between brightness and silence, perfectly still, perfectly at peace. Before there were stars, the universe was dark, a quiet ocean of invisible matter drifting in slow expansion. No warmth, no color, no light, only stillness. But within that silence, gravity began its gentle work. Tiny grains of dust, almost nothing at all, drifted together over unimaginable distances. They met softly, clinging, growing, gathering into clouds so large that they swallowed light itself. Inside those clouds, a quiet pressure began to build, not loud or violent, but steady, patient, inevitable. And then, somewhere deep within that darkness, heat began to rise. The atoms moved faster, pressing closer until they could no longer resist each other's pull. In that embrace, something miraculous occurred. Fusion. Two atoms joined, and in that union, light was born. The first star ignited not with sound, but with radiance, a dawn that filled the void. The universe for the first time could see itself. It is a humbling thought that every ray of light, every warmth we know, began in the heart of a collapsing cloud. The same process that now fuels our sun is the quiet breath of creation that has echoed across billions of years. Each star that forms carries within it a fragment of that first awakening, a memory of when nothingness learned how to shine. Imagine being near such a birth. The light would begin as a faint shimmer, hidden behind curtains of dust. Slowly, it would grow, turning darkness into gold. There would be no explosion, only illumination spreading softly through the void, like the first notes of a symphony played to an empty hall. The newborn star would breathe its first light across space, awakening planets yet unborn, painting the nearby dust with the promise of life. The science of it is simple: pressure, heat, and gravity. But the feeling it inspires is not. There is something profoundly gentle in the way the universe makes its fire. No rush, no anger, only the quiet surrender of matter into energy, the transformation of weight into brilliance. The stars are not forged in fury. They are shaped by patience. And as you look at the night sky, remember that the light reaching you now began its journey long before your birth, from stars that may already be gone. Yet their glow continues, traveling faithfully through time, unchanged in its purpose, to remind us that every beginning, no matter how small, can light the darkness. So, let the thought of starlight warm you. Let it settle behind your eyes as a soft glow of understanding. You are made from that same fire, born from that same calm creation. In every heartbeat, there is fusion, quiet, continuous, eternal. A star's life is not measured in years, but in billions of heartbeats of light. From its quiet birth in a cradle of dust, it begins to shine with steady purpose, fusing hydrogen into helium in a calm, continuous rhythm. Each reaction, each pulse of energy sends warmth across the void, a heartbeat that will last longer than memory, longer than any word we know for time. In the heart of every star, balance reigns. Gravity pulls inward, pressing matter together, while light pushes outward, holding that pressure in check. It is a perfect stillness made of motion, two opposite forces in eternal harmony. The star breathes in this balance, neither collapsing nor bursting content to simply exist. For most of its life, nothing dramatic happens. It shines and shines and shines, quietly performing the work of keeping darkness at bay. Our sun, the familiar warmth above our days, is about halfway through its long life. It has burned steadily for 4.5 billion years and will continue for roughly the same span again. To the universe, that is an instant. To us, it is eternity. The light that nurtures every tree, every ocean, every life on Earth is the ongoing whisper of a star simply doing what it was born to do: to glow. Larger stars live shorter lives, burning with greater brightness but less patience. Smaller ones can endure almost forever, glowing faintly for trillions of years. The universe writes no single script. Each star chooses its own tempo, yet all follow the same rhythm of existence: birth, balance, transformation. If you could stand near a star, you would see no haste in its brilliance. The surface might shimmer with storms, waves of plasma rolling endlessly, but beneath that beauty is calm endurance. It is not a fire that consumes itself. It is a harmony that sustains itself. The universe's lesson lies within that balance. That power need not be violent. That longevity is found in quiet equilibrium. As stars age, their fuel slowly fades. But even this is not an ending, only a transition. Their light grows warmer, redder, softer. They swell gently into giants, expanding like a sigh after eons of stillness. To watch such a transformation would be to witness peace unfolding into rest. The same peace that the universe itself embodies. So, when you look up at the night sky, know that every point of light is a life in progress, each at its own stage of becoming. Some are just beginning, others are softly preparing to fade, and yet all of them share the same destiny: to give, to glow, and to rest. Even the stars must rest. After billions of years of shining, their fuel begins to fade, their steady rhythm slowing like the last notes of a song. Yet the end of a star's life is not a tragedy. It is a transformation, a quiet changing of form that allows new worlds, new stars, and new stories to begin. The universe, like nature itself, wastes nothing. Every ending folds gently into a beginning. As a star nears the end of its life, gravity begins to reclaim what light once held apart. The balance tilts, and the star expands into a red giant, its surface glowing deep and soft, like embers beneath ash. For a time it shines even more brightly, burning the last of its fuel with slow dignity. Then, as the fire wanes, its outer layers drift outward into space, clouds of color and dust, beautiful and serene. Astronomers call these nebulae, but you might think of them as the star's final breath, a graceful release of everything it once was. From those drifting clouds, new beginnings are born. The dust, rich with elements forged in the star's heart, carbon, oxygen, iron, gathers again in the cold dark, pulled together by gravity's gentle hand. In time, those particles will form new stars, new planets, perhaps even the seeds of life. It is a cycle without sorrow, a rhythm without pause, light into dust, dust into light. Some stars, larger and heavier, end in greater intensity, collapsing inward with unimaginable force, igniting in a supernova that outshines entire galaxies. But even there, amid the brilliance, there is peace. For a few moments, the universe remembers its own creation. The explosion scatters the ingredients of life across space, the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones. You are, quite literally, made from the remains of stars that once lived, shone, and quietly transformed. When we look at the night sky, we are not seeing the distant, we are seeing the past made visible. Each glimmer is a story of change, of fire becoming dust, of dust becoming life. There is comfort in knowing that nothing truly disappears. The stars that die continue to live within us, in every breath and heartbeat. So, as you rest, think of the stars not as flames that burn out, but as lights that pass the torch forward, endlessly. The universe hums this lesson in silence. Endings are not losses, but transitions. Death is only another form of becoming. And in that truth, the cosmos finds its calm, glowing eternally, breathing in and out, just as you do now. When some stars die, their endings do not scatter softly into space. Instead, gravity draws everything inward until matter itself surrenders. The atoms collapse, their spaces between shrinking until even the smallest particles merge. What remains is a neutron star, a body no larger than a city, yet heavier than entire suns. It is one of the densest things in the universe, a monument to silence and pressure. Imagine a single teaspoon of its material. It would weigh billions of tons. Yet this impossible weight rests quietly, turning slowly in the dark. There is no flame, no movement that we can see, only the faint pulse of radiation sweeping through the void, like a heartbeat slowed almost to stillness. Some of these stars spin hundreds of times per second, yet to our eyes, they are tranquil, a cosmic paradox of motion and peace. These remnants are what's left after a supernova's final light fades, the quiet survivors of creation's storm. Their surfaces are smooth and hard as crystal, and beneath them, atoms exist in ways no longer familiar. Inside, particles are pressed so close that identity blurs, matter becomes pure essence. It is as though the universe itself takes a deep breath, compressing its brilliance into a single, silent point of memory. If you could drift nearby, you would see a faint glow like the ember of a world that refuses to die. The space around it would ripple with unseen gravity, bending light as it passes. Yet, despite its unimaginable density, the neutron star feels tranquil, not violent, not chaotic, simply inevitable. It is the embodiment of surrender, everything given, nothing wasted. Sometimes these stars form in pairs, orbiting one another in slow, eternal spirals. Their gravity creates waves that travel through space-time itself, ripples that scientists can now detect, faint tremors in the fabric of existence. Each wave tells of an ancient dance, of two immense hearts circling each other endlessly, until, at last, they merge. Even in that union, there is quiet beauty, an echo of balance rediscovered. Neutron stars remind us that even in collapse, there can be grace. They show that stillness is not emptiness, but power held in repose. The silence they carry is not absence, but presence concentrated, a peace so deep that time itself seems to pause nearby. So, as you imagine this heavy, glowing sphere turning slowly in the darkness, let it teach you how strength can exist without noise. The stars that end in collapse are not defeated, they are transformed. They rest as the universe's quiet memory, keeping watch in the dark, forever humming with the soft rhythm of endurance. At the very end of a massive star's life, when even a neutron star cannot contain its own weight, gravity takes one final step inward. Everything collapses past comprehension, past atoms, past space, past the familiar flow of time. What remains is a black hole, a place where gravity is so strong that not even light can escape. Yet, despite its fearsome name, there is no violence here, only the deepest kind of calm, a quiet so profound it silences even light itself. Imagine drifting near one. You would not see chaos or flames, but serenity, a dark sphere, smooth and silent, outlined by the faint glow of light that circles its edges. This ring of light, called the event horizon, marks the point where time itself begins to slow. For those watching from afar, a moment here could last forever. What falls inward never truly vanishes. It becomes part of a memory that the universe holds in perfect stillness. At the center lies what physicists call a singularity, a point where our understanding dissolves. Here, the rules of matter and motion blur, and even time folds in on itself. But rather than feeling unsettling, this mystery carries a strange peace. It reminds us that not everything must be known to be beautiful. The black hole is not destruction. It is transformation so complete that language cannot follow. Around some black holes, disks of gas and dust glow like halos, turning in slow spirals before vanishing into shadow. The light bends and warps, looping back on itself, creating illusions of infinity. If you could watch without fear, you'd see not terror, but grace, gravity shaping light into art. Even in this deepest darkness, the universe paints with care. Einstein once said that time and space are woven together like fabric. A black hole is a fold in that fabric, a place where the cosmos rests, where the tension of creation relaxes. To fall toward it would be to move not into destruction, but into timelessness, the ultimate still point. Perhaps that is why these objects draw us in. They are not the universe's monsters, but its meditations, reminders that stillness lies beyond even light, and that endings may be doorways, not walls. Every galaxy, including ours, carries one at its heart, keeping its stars in balance, anchoring the dance of creation. So, when you picture a black hole, do not see absence. See the universe breathing out, pulling energy inward so it may someday release it again. Even darkness has rhythm, even silence has shape. At the edge of time, the cosmos closes its eyes, and everything becomes one continuous moment of peace. The universe does not end with darkness. Even when stars collapse, when light seems to vanish, their essence lingers, transformed, renewed, ready to begin again. Every atom that once glowed within a star drifts outward, carried on cosmic winds, scattered like seeds across the endless field of space. In time, those particles will gather again, drawn together by gravity's gentle hand, and a new light will be born from the remnants of the old. This is the eternal cycle of the cosmos. Light into shadow, shadow into light. There is no final moment, no true silence, only rhythm, an infinite pulse of transformation that never ceases. What dies becomes what shines, what fades becomes what breathes. The universe itself is a heartbeat, measured not in seconds, but in the rise and fall of creation. Every breath you take is a continuation of that rhythm. The oxygen filling your lungs was once part of a star's final breath, released into space before Earth even existed. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the carbon that carries your thoughts, all were forged in the hearts of ancient suns. You are not beneath the stars, you are among them. You are what remains when the light begins again. Even the black holes, those keepers of silence, contribute to this endless renewal. They draw in matter and energy, yet their influence shapes galaxies, their gravity guiding the orbits of billions of stars. Nothing in the universe is lost, everything is repurposed, recycled, reborn. Light is never destroyed, only hidden for a while, waiting for its next dawn. If you could watch this process unfold, stars forming, shining, collapsing, and forming again, it would look less like chaos and more like breathing. The universe inhales, drawing matter inward, and then exhales, spreading it outward as new beginnings. It is an infinite meditation, calm and sure. There is no rush, no error, only balance. And when you look up at the night sky, what you see is that balance made visible, the evidence of countless endings and beginnings overlapping in time. Some of the light above you is newborn, some is ancient beyond comprehension. Yet together, it forms a single quiet glow, the reflection of an eternal process that has no need for finality. So, as this chapter closes, rest in that thought. Nothing truly fades. The same light that once warmed distant worlds now shines within you. The stars live on through your breath, your heartbeat, your wonder. You are part of the universe's endless cycle, the gentle, eternal rhythm of light finding its way home. If you listen closely enough to existence, you will sense a rhythm beneath it all, a steady, patient pulse woven through the vastness of space. It does not beat like a drum or hum like a song, but it is there, in every orbit, every rotation, every flicker of starlight. The universe breathes in cycles, repeating patterns that stretch across time and distance. These rhythms are quiet, but they shape everything, galaxies, worlds, even you. Gravity, the universe's soft conductor, keeps this rhythm alive. It pulls, it balances, it releases, never harshly, always in flow. Galaxies spin like great spirals of light, their arms moving in graceful synchrony around invisible centers. Stars within them drift as if to a shared tempo, rising and falling through epochs of brightness. Even light itself moves with rhythm, wavering in waves that ripple endlessly across the dark. Every particle dances to a tempo so consistent that it defines reality itself. Some of these rhythms are vast beyond imagining. The slow turn of a galaxy that takes hundreds of millions of years to complete a single rotation. Others are small and fleeting, like the flicker of a pulsar or the hum of atoms vibrating in a molecule. Yet no matter their scale, they all echo the same truth: motion without chaos, order without control, peace through pattern. Perhaps that is why the universe feels calm. Even when it is in motion, it never stops, but it never hurries. The balance of its forces, expansion and gravity, energy and silence, ensures that everything flows without conflict. What seems random is only rhythm too large to hear. What seems still is motion too small to notice. If you close your eyes, you can imagine these rhythms as waves of light moving through the dark. Some crest high, the birth of a star, the collision of galaxies, while others barely tremble like dust drifting through starlight. Together they form the great symphony of existence, a composition that began at the dawn of time and will continue long after memory fades. This hidden music connects everything: planets and hearts, tides and thought, galaxies and breath. You are part of it, not separate from its sound. Every beat of your pulse is synchronized to the same quiet law that guides the cosmos. You are not simply in the universe. You are one of its rhythms, repeating softly in harmony with all the rest. So, as you listen now, let that truth settle over you like gravity itself. Unseen, constant, steady. The universe does not rush. It moves with grace, always in time. And if you let yourself drift with it, you will find that same rhythm within, patient, infinite, and perfectly at peace. Gravity is the soft hand that keeps the universe together. It does not shout. It does not command. It simply invites. Everything with mass feels its pull. Everything responds in its own quiet way. From the smallest grain of dust to the grandest galaxy, all move according to its unseen rhythm. It is the universe's embrace, constant, invisible, endlessly patient. Imagine two stars drifting near each other in the dark. Their gravity draws them closer, but not abruptly. They begin to circle, each feeling the other's presence, moving in slow, perfect arcs. This is not conflict, it is choreography. The dance continues for millions of years, their orbits intertwined, their balance precise. What might look from afar like stillness is, in truth, an endless waltz, each motion mirrored, each pause in harmony. Gravity is what allows worlds to exist. It gathers dust and gas into spheres, pulls water into oceans, holds the air that we breathe. It turns chaos into structure, randomness into rhythm. Without it, there would be no stars, no light, no warmth, only drifting silence. Yet even in its strength, gravity is gentle. It does not force matter to move. It guides it, persuades it, holds it close without breaking it apart. The same balance can be felt in your own life, though on a smaller scale. The quiet forces that draw people together, love, trust, curiosity, follow similar laws. They are invisible, but they hold everything in place. Relationships, like planets, need both pull and distance. Too far, and connection fades; too close, and balance is lost. The harmony lies in motion, in allowing everything to orbit, to breathe, to flow. Gravity is also the reason time moves as it does. Near great masses, stars, planets, even black holes, time itself slows, stretched gently by the weight of presence. The stronger the pull, the slower the seconds drift. It is as if the universe takes a longer breath near what it loves most. This is not a flaw, but a kindness, a reminder that where there is gravity, there is patience. If you could see this dance from above, you would find beauty in its simplicity. Every galaxy, every cluster, every orbiting pair is part of the same quiet ballet. It has no beginning and no final step, only continuous movement, serene and eternal. The stars never tire, gravity never sleeps. Together they glide through the endless dark, keeping one another company in silence. So as you rest, imagine yourself as part of that dance, not watching from afar, but within it. Feel the pull of stillness, the balance of motion, the safety of connection. The same force that guides galaxies also guides you, softly, faithfully, forever. Every movement in the universe, no matter how small, sends a ripple outward. When two stars orbit one another, or when black holes collide in distant silence, the very fabric of space bends and stretches, a wave, invisible but real, passing through everything that exists. These are gravitational waves, tremors not in sound or light, but in space-time itself. They travel quietly, like whispers across eternity, carrying the story of cosmic motion from one corner of the universe to another. Imagine a pond so vast that the edges can never be seen. Drop a pebble into it, and the ripples spread endlessly, softening as they go. Now imagine that pond as the universe itself, and instead of water, it is made of space and time. The ripples you feel are the motions of galaxies and stars, brushing gently against all of creation. Even here, where you sit and breathe, those faint vibrations pass through you. You do not notice them, but they are there, marking your existence with the faint rhythm of the cosmos. When scientists first detected these waves, they realized they were listening to something ancient. Each wave begins from an event so powerful it defies imagination. Yet by the time it reaches us, it is softer than an atom's whisper. The instruments that capture them are vast, stretching for miles. Yet what they detect is smaller than the width of a single proton. It is a miracle of patience and precision, of humans reaching into silence to touch the fabric of forever. But the beauty of gravitational waves is not only in their discovery, it is in what they reveal. They tell us that space is not empty. It moves, it flexes, it breathes. When you look at the stars, the light you see is only half the story. Beneath that radiance, space itself sways like a slow tide, weaving every galaxy, every atom, every thought into a single, endless motion. As you imagine this, let the idea settle gently within you. Picture the universe as a soft ocean, its waves so vast and slow that they cradle everything, stars, planets, and you, without ever breaking. You are part of that motion, floating effortlessly in the same cosmic current. The waves that move through the universe are the same ones that move through your breath, your pulse, your dreams. So, rest in that realization. The universe is not still. It is always listening, always in motion. Every heartbeat, every breath, every drifting thought is another ripple through existence. You do not have to chase them or understand them. Simply feel the quiet rhythm of space passing through you, soft and eternal. The universe's way of saying that nothing is ever truly still. Light and gravity speak to one another in silence. They are the twin architects of the universe. One reveals, the other shapes. Light shows us where to look. Gravity tells us how to move. Together, they compose the quiet script of reality, a dialogue that stretches from the heart of stars to the space between atoms. Every sunrise, every shadow, every orbit is written in that shared language. Light travels straight until gravity whispers. When it does, the path bends gently, as if listening to a cosmic suggestion. Around stars and black holes, this bending becomes visible, beams curving through the dark like ribbons of silk caught in slow wind. Astronomers call it gravitational lensing, but to the imagination, it feels like poetry, space itself shaping light into art. Through these distortions, we see echoes of distant galaxies magnified, messages from billions of years ago arriving with graceful precision. If you could watch this process unfold, it would look like a silent dance between brightness and pull. Gravity moves invisibly, a sculptor whose hands never touch. Light responds effortlessly, folding and flowing through the contours of space. There is no conflict, no resistance, only harmony. Each obeys the other without command. It is a relationship built on trust, a rhythm older than time itself. Light gives the universe its color, gravity gives it its form. One without the other would be incomplete. Without gravity, light would scatter endlessly, never gathering into stars. Without light, gravity's shapes would remain unseen, their beauty hidden forever. Together, they turn emptiness into structure, chaos into balance, silence into story. The galaxies you see in the night sky are their shared creation, light woven through gravity's invisible loom. This language is not one we hear, but one we feel. Every ray of sunlight that warms your skin has been curved, delayed, and guided by gravity on its way to you. Every shadow that falls is shaped by that same gentle force, sculpting light into patterns your eyes understand instinctively. Even your body, bound softly to earth, participates in the same dialogue, held in place by gravity, illuminated by light. As you rest, imagine these two ancient companions moving through you. The pull of gravity grounding your body to the earth, the warmth of light carrying your thoughts outward into the cosmos. They balance each other, just as movement balances stillness, and awareness balances rest. The universe is written in their conversation, a soft exchange between brightness and depth, between energy and patience. You do not need to translate it, you already speak it. Every breath you take, every heartbeat you feel, every quiet moment of peace is another sentence. In that universal language, the gentle conversation of light and gravity, endlessly unfolding through the calm of forever. In the vastness of the cosmos, nothing is truly still. Every planet spins, every star turns, every galaxy drifts through space on a journey without end. Yet within that endless movement, there is peace. The universe does not hurry. Its motion is steady, balanced, a harmony so perfect that it feels like stillness. It is this quiet paradox that shapes existence, motion and calm, forever intertwined. From where you stand, the earth feels solid, unmoving beneath your feet. But in truth, it races through space at thousands of kilometers per hour, spinning and orbiting in a grand celestial rhythm. You are part of that motion, carried effortlessly through the stars without ever feeling the wind of the journey. The stillness you experience is not the absence of motion. It is perfect balance within it. Imagine a leaf floating on a calm river. The water moves, yet the leaf seems to rest, drifting without effort, carried by a current. It does not resist. This is how the planets move through space, and how you, too, move through time. Motion becomes gentle when it is in harmony with its surroundings. The leaf does not struggle against the river, it belongs to it, and in that belonging, it finds peace. The same is true within you. Beneath the quiet surface of your body, everything is in motion, the pulse of your blood, the rhythm of your breath, the dance of atoms within every cell. Yet the sum of all this activity feels calm, unified, whole. You are both movement and stillness at once, a living reflection of the universe's deeper truth. Astronomers have long noted that galaxies spin not in chaos but in pattern, each star held in orbit by gravity's gentle persuasion. The faster one part moves, the slower another balances it. Expansion and gravity, energy and rest, all coexist, each keeping the other in check. This is why the universe endures. It is not driven by conflict but by equilibrium, by the constant search for harmony between motion and pause. As you listen, feel that same balance within yourself. The rhythm of your breath, the rise and fall of thought, the slow drift between awareness and rest. These are your orbits, the natural cycles that keep you aligned with the quiet order of existence. There is no need to stop the motion, to find stillness. They are not opposites, they are companions, two halves of one gentle rhythm, so let go of the idea of stillness as silence or absence. True stillness is movement without resistance, the calm that comes from flowing with the universe, rather than against it. You are already part of that flow, turning with the earth, breathing with the stars, resting in motion, forever balanced within the quiet heartbeat of everything. As the music of motion and stillness fades, you begin to sense a new kind of quiet, not the silence of absence, but the stillness of completion. The universe around you stretches without edge or boundary, flowing outward like thought itself. Every point, every star, every atom seems to drift toward forever, and yet nothing is lost. Infinity is not distance, it is presence, unfolding endlessly in every direction. You are still floating in that balance, between movement and rest, between awareness and dream. The galaxies turn slowly, their spirals glowing like lanterns adrift on an unseen tide. From here, there is no center and no end, only the soft glow of existence continuing. The farther you gaze, the calmer it feels, as if the universe were whispering that eternity was never meant to overwhelm, only to embrace. Scientists tell us that space is expanding, that galaxies move away from one another as the universe breathes outward. But this expansion is not a rush. It is more like a sigh, long and gentle, the exhalation. Every moment more room is made for stars to shine, for time to flow, for being itself to stretch and rest. Even infinity grows softly. If you close your eyes, you might feel that same expansion within yourself. A widening of awareness, a gentle dissolving of boundaries. Thoughts drift farther apart, like galaxies receding, leaving behind only calm and spaciousness. The mind opens like the sky, no longer crowded, no longer striving. This is what it means to enter infinity, to release the need for edges. There is comfort in knowing that the universe continues endlessly and patiently. Somewhere, light is still being born. Somewhere else, a star quietly fades. Between those moments lies the eternal rhythm of creation, always flowing, never ending. You are part of that rhythm, carried effortlessly within its tide. The infinite is not beyond you, it begins where you are. As the stars around you fade to a gentle haze, the sense of scale becomes meaningless. Large and small, near and far, beginning and end, all blend into one seamless calm. You are not looking at infinity anymore. You are within it, breathing with it, resting in its boundless grace. Let that realization settle over you like starlight. You do not have to reach for eternity. It has already found you. Every breath is part of its rhythm, every heartbeat a quiet echo of its pulse. The journey ahead continues, but there is no hurry. The universe moves at the pace of peace, and so do you. Every night, when you lift your eyes to the sky, you are looking into your own origin. The stars that shimmer above are not just distant lights. They are the ancestors of everything you are. Every atom in your body, every breath you take, every flicker of thought in your mind was once part of a star that lived, burned, and gently released its elements into space. To look at the stars is to look into a mirror made of time. Long before telescopes and equations, people already knew this connection, though they spoke of it in stories instead of science. They traced patterns among the constellations, hunters, queens, dragons, rivers, and saw their own lives reflected in the heavens. The stars became a language, a way to explain both wonder and belonging. Even in the most ancient nights, humans sensed that they were part of something vast, something kind, something that had always been watching over them. Across centuries, that feeling has not changed. The instruments have grown sharper, the knowledge deeper, but the emotion remains the same. The quiet awe, the sense of being held within something infinite, it still reaches the heart before it reaches the mind. Science has only confirmed what the spirit always felt, that we are not visitors in the universe. We are participants. We do not stand beneath the stars. We rise with them. When you think of this truth, notice how it softens the edges of loneliness. Even when you feel small or separate, you are still made of the same light that burns across galaxies. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen that fills your lungs, all born in stellar furnaces billions of years ago. You are a continuation of that glow, reshaped into breath and heartbeat. The stars are not above you, they are within you, shining quietly through the space of your being. Imagine for a moment the first person who ever truly looked at the night sky and wondered what those points of light might be. They had no words for galaxies, no concept of physics, only the feeling, the stillness that comes when curiosity meets peace. That same feeling lives in you now. Every time you gaze upward, you repeat that ancient act of connection, joining every dreamer who has ever wandered. So as you rest beneath the stars tonight, remember that they are not distant, they are familiar. Their light is your history, their rhythm your pulse. The universe is not a place you travel through, it is the home you have always known, quietly waiting to remind you that you belong to everything that ever was. Long before there were cities, before language took its familiar form, there were nights, vast, dark, and filled with stars. The first humans sat beside quiet fires and looked upward, their faces glowing in the same light that still travels to us today. They did not yet know the science of what they saw, but they felt something truer than knowledge. A stirring of wonder, a question that had no urgency to be answered. In that moment, curiosity and peace were born together. Those ancient eyes saw a sky unbroken by smoke or glass, a canvas of thousands of stars shimmering in perfect clarity. Each point of light must have felt alive, moving, watching, breathing with the rhythm of the night. The constellations they imagined were stories written across eternity. Orion's belt was not just 3 stars, but the mark of a hunter. The Milky Way was not a galaxy, but a river of souls or a path for dreams. Through these stories, they found comfort in the unknown, turning the infinite into something they could love. As tribes wandered and civilizations began, the stars became companions and guides. Travelers crossed deserts by their light. Sailors trusted them to lead across endless seas. Farmers watched their slow dance to mark the changing seasons. The heavens offered both direction and reassurance, a steady rhythm that outlasted fear, conflict, and time itself. Every glance at the sky became an act of trust, a reminder that the world was larger than worry, yet gentle enough to illuminate the way home. Temples were built to trace their patterns. Songs were written to praise their return. Each culture, in its own language, called the stars by names that meant eternal, watchful, home. Even now, those names linger, small fragments of humanity's oldest poetry. The night sky was our first map, our first calendar, our first shared dream. It was the beginning of science and spirituality alike, born from the same quiet desire to understand. When you stand beneath the stars today, you share that same gaze with every human who ever lived. The constellations above you are unchanged, their light traveling through millennia to meet your eyes just as it met theirs. In that shared view, time dissolves. You are not merely looking at the past. You are looking with it, through the eyes of your ancestors, connected by the same flicker of wonder that once lit their hearts. So as you rest tonight, imagine that lineage of stargazers, a chain of silent dreamers stretching back through ages, each one pausing beneath the same sky. Their questions became your heritage, their awe your inheritance. And in their dreams, the stars are still reflected, timeless, patient, and endlessly kind. As centuries passed, humanity's curiosity began to take new shape. The stars that once inspired myths became questions, gentle, patient questions, that invited understanding without shattering the magic. Early astronomers, philosophers, and dreamers looked upward not only with awe but with intent. They sought patterns, measured shadows, traced the slow turning of the heavens, and in doing so, they began to realize that the sky was not chaos, but order, a silent rhythm written in light. Imagine a quiet night thousands of years ago, somewhere in Babylon or Egypt or Greece. A lone observer marks the rising of a bright star with a stick pressed into sand. Night after night, they return, watching that same light appear a little earlier, a little higher. Over time, a realization forms. The universe moves with precision. The sky, once mysterious, becomes a clock, a compass. Discovery begins not in brilliance but in patience. The ancient scholars found comfort in this order. Pythagoras heard harmony in the movements of planets, the music of the spheres. Aristotle imagined the heavens as perfect circles, turning eternally. To them, knowledge was not a conquest but a communion, an act of listening to what the universe was already saying. Every new idea, every sketch of the stars, was a form of reverence. They were not trying to tame the cosmos, they were trying to understand its grace. Later came telescopes, simple lenses at first polished by hand and aimed toward the sky. Through them, Galileo saw moons circling Jupiter, mountains on the moon, and countless stars invisible to the naked eye. His discovery was not loud or violent. It was a moment of quiet expansion, a deeper breath drawn by humanity itself. For the first time, people realized that the universe was larger than any story they had told, and that truth did not destroy the wonder. The age of discovery was not just about ships crossing oceans or maps being redrawn. It was about eyes learning to see farther, minds opening to the possibility that creation was infinite, and we were part of it. Each new revelation about the heavens only echoed what those first stargazers already knew in their hearts, that curiosity and calm are not opposites. They are companions. As you think of these early seekers, imagine their faces lifted toward the same sky you see tonight. The instruments have changed, the names have changed, but the yearning is the same: to look, to understand, to belong. Every time you wonder about the stars, you continue their work. You are part of that same dawn, the eternal sunrise of discovery, still glowing softly within the night. When humanity first lifted a lens toward the heavens, the universe revealed itself in ways no one had ever imagined. A simple curve of glass became an eye large enough to see across centuries, catching the faint shimmer of starlight that had traveled billions of years to arrive. Those first telescopes were fragile, wooden tubes, rough mirrors, imperfect lenses. Yet through them, the infinite began to take form. The cosmos, once a mystery told in myths and whispers, started to unfold like a slow and beautiful truth. Through Galileo's telescope, the moon was no longer a smooth, perfect sphere, but a world of valleys and shadows. The stars of the Milky Way, once thought to be clouds of mist, resolved into countless suns. Each discovery was quiet, but profound, a revelation made not by force, but by patience. The night sky became a living map, one that stretched far beyond what any imagination had dared to picture. As the centuries passed, those eyes of glass grew larger and clearer. Observatories were built on mountaintops, where the air was thin and still, away from the flicker of earthly lights. There, astronomers kept silent vigil, gazing for hours through lenses and mirrors, their hearts attuned to the faint pulse of the cosmos. What they found was not chaos, but elegance. Galaxies spiraling like seashells, nebulae glowing like breath, caught in light. The deeper they looked, the more the universe seemed to whisper back, as if rewarding their patience with wonder. Then came mirrors, vast, polished surfaces that gathered starlight into focus, transforming faint glimmers into images of stunning clarity. Each reflection carried a story billions of years old. The light that entered the telescope tonight might have begun its journey before Earth was even born. Yet when it arrived, it was as fresh as dawn, untouched by time. The telescope became not just a tool of science, but a bridge between moments, a meeting place for past and present, for light and eyes. Even now, with instruments orbiting far above the Earth, that sense of reverence remains. Space telescopes drift in silent perfection, their mirrors unfolding like petals in the dark. They see not with urgency, but with grace, collecting light from galaxies at the edge of time, listening to the faint hum of creation itself. And though their machinery is complex, their purpose is simple: to keep looking, gently, into the unknown. So, when you think of these eyes of glass and mirrors of light, imagine them as extensions of your own wonder. Each lens is humanity dreaming outward, every reflection a reminder that curiosity is another form of love. We build these instruments not to conquer the cosmos, but to join it, to see ourselves reflected in the calm, endless glow of everything that has ever been. As telescopes reached farther, the desire to follow their gaze grew stronger. Humanity began to dream of leaving the ground entirely, of drifting among the very stars it had only observed from afar. It was not ambition alone that led to this. It was curiosity, the same quiet longing that once moved ancient eyes to trace constellations. To step into the heavens was not to escape Earth, but to see it more clearly, suspended in the gentle dark. When the first spacecraft rose through the atmosphere, the world held its breath. For a brief moment, humanity's oldest dream became real. Astronauts drifted weightless, gazing back upon their home, a small blue marble glowing in blackness, delicate and complete. Many would later say that this sight changed them forever. From orbit, there were no borders, no nations, only patterns of cloud and ocean, land and light. The universe, it seemed, was both infinite and intimate, vast beyond measure, yet held easily within a single human heartbeat. Each mission since then has carried that same quiet purpose: to learn, to listen, to understand. Probes have touched the moon, glided past Saturn's rings, and crossed the edge of the solar system into the deep beyond. They travel silently, carrying messages of peace and curiosity, their antennas outstretched like open hands reaching toward the stars. Even when their power fades, their momentum continues, a testament to endurance and gentle persistence. The scientists and engineers who guide these journeys work not in noise, but in patience. Years may pass before a signal returns, whispering across billions of kilometers. Yet they wait, knowing that every faint pulse of data carries the breath of discovery. To them, space is not a void, it is a conversation, a call and response between human curiosity and cosmic silence. And though the universe answers slowly, it always answers. Perhaps the most beautiful part of this era of exploration is how it brings us back to humility. The more we learn, the more we see how delicate life is, how miraculous existence truly becomes against the scale of eternity. From high above, our planet is a fragile light surrounded by endless dark. And yet, within that small circle, there is laughter, warmth, and meaning. To explore is not to leave that behind, but to celebrate it. So as you listen, imagine drifting beside those explorers, the satellites gliding through starlight, the rovers moving slowly across alien soil, the distant probes sailing farther into the quiet. They are not alone. They carry our shared wonder, our gentle question that never ends. And through them, we continue to wander peacefully through the dark, guided not by conquest, but by curiosity wrapped in calm. From the first spark of a fire beneath a night sky to the glow of instruments orbiting above the Earth, humanity's story has always been written in starlight. Every generation has looked upward and seen the same quiet infinity, each adding its own verse to the song of discovery. The stars do not change quickly, but we do. And yet, through all that change, the connection remains constant. It is the oldest thread that binds us, light traveling through time, meeting our eyes and our hearts with the same familiar grace. If you were to trace that light backward through centuries and civilizations, you would find countless faces lifted to the heavens. Farmers marking seasons, travelers finding direction, poets weaving dreams, scientists measuring and marveling, all united by the same silent question, what lies beyond? That question is not one of doubt, but of wonder. It does not disturb the heart, it quiets it. It invites patience, not urgency. As our tools grew sharper and our reach extended farther, the stars did not grow any closer. Instead, they grew more meaningful. Each discovery revealed not just the vastness of the cosmos, but the depth of our own reflection within it. When astronauts saw Earth from above, they saw not a planet apart from the stars, but a star among stars, fragile, shining, alive. Through that vision, time itself seemed to soften. The past, present, and future all merged into a single moment of understanding, that to exist is to be part of something endlessly unfolding. And yet, even as we build machines to see farther and listen deeper, there is something timeless that no instrument can measure. The feeling of looking up in quiet awe. It is the same now as it was for the first dreamers. The universe speaks most clearly in stillness. It does not demand to be solved. It invites you to listen. So, as this chapter closes, imagine standing once more beneath the night sky, the same sky that watched over your ancestors, the same one that will shine above generations yet to come. The stars have always been there, waiting patiently for eyes to find them. They do not rush, they simply glow, offering light across the ages. Let their calm presence remind you that time is not a wall but a river, and wonder is the current that carries us through it. Every discovery, every thought, every dream flows from that same source. When the mind drifts into dreams, it travels in the same quiet way the stars move through space, slowly, effortlessly, guided by unseen tides. Sleep and the cosmos share a rhythm, both vast, both unhurried, both filled with mystery that does not need to be solved to be beautiful. As your body rests, your mind becomes an explorer, gliding softly through worlds not yet discovered. Dreams are the universe's language spoken within you, its light refracted through thought. In these inner skies, the boundaries of distance dissolve. A single memory can become a planet. A fleeting idea can rise like a sun. Time bends in sleep, looping and folding until every moment exists at once. You might find yourself walking through constellations or hearing the soft hum of galaxies turning, as though the universe itself were breathing beside you. None of it feels strange, because within dreams, the impossible has always been natural. Scientists study sleep with machines that trace the patterns of brainwaves, but the essence of dreaming cannot be captured, only felt. It is as mysterious as dark matter, shaping us from within without ever showing its full face. Perhaps, in some quiet way, the cosmos dreams through us as well. Every human mind is a small universe, filled with light and gravity, memory and motion. When you dream, you are not leaving reality, you are returning to its source. Ancient cultures often saw dreams as journeys, the soul wandering among stars, collecting wisdom from the infinite. Whether true or metaphorical, the image feels right. To dream is to travel without moving, to see without needing light. It is a bridge between what is real and what could be, just as the night sky bridges the world we know with the vastness beyond it. As you close your eyes and drift, imagine that the same forces guiding galaxies are guiding your thoughts. The gravitational pull of memory, the illumination of imagination, these are your inner stars, shining quietly through the darkness of rest. Each dream is its own constellation, fleeting but meaningful, glowing for a moment in the endless field of your mind. So tonight, as you listen and begin to drift, allow yourself to float through that cosmic sea within. You are both observer and creation, stargazer and star. There is no separation between the universe above and the one inside you. Both are made of the same silence, the same brilliance, the same calm. Let your dreams carry you gently through that boundless expanse, where curiosity becomes peace and wonder becomes rest. Within you lies a universe as wide and mysterious as the one that stretches beyond the stars. Every thought is a spark of light, every memory a constellation forming and fading across the vastness of your awareness. the mind does not end where your body does. It extends outward, touching the infinite through imagination and reflection. When you dream, when you wonder, when you pause to breathe beneath the night sky, you are gazing into a cosmos that exists both within and without. Neuroscientists often describe the brain as a network, billions of neurons firing in patterns that resemble galaxies linked by invisible bridges. When they map those connections, the images look astonishingly familiar: clusters of brilliance, threads of energy, islands of thought bound together by unseen forces. It is as if creation followed the same blueprint at every scale, from atoms to stars, from the curve of synapses to the arcs of galaxies. The design of the mind and the universe is one continuous pattern, echoed in silence and light. Every emotion that rises within you has its orbit, moving in slow and graceful curves. Joy expands like a nebula. Grief contracts like a star collapsing inward before glowing again. Ideas collide, merge, and transform, much like the celestial bodies that drift through the dark, exchanging matter and energy in endless renewal. Even silence within the mind has weight, a gravity that gathers the fragments of thought into harmony. When you close your eyes, you can sense this inner space, vast, quiet, and full of gentle movement. Memories flicker like distant suns. The faint echo of a dream drifts by like cosmic dust. Your consciousness is not confined to your skull. It is a field, a presence that stretches outward and inward at once. The same particles that built the stars hum quietly in your cells. You are not simply part of the universe, you tuiri, the universe becoming aware of itself. This idea is not just philosophy, it is peace. To see your mind as a universe is to understand that there is room for everything. Light and shadow, sound and silence, movement and stillness. Nothing is wasted, nothing truly disappears. Every thought, every feeling, every dream leaves a trace, a pattern that ripples gently through the fabric of who you are. So tonight, let your awareness drift through that inner expanse. There is no edge to reach, no map to follow. The mind, like space, is endless, not because it is empty, but because it is full of possibility. You are both the traveler and the stars you travel among. In every breath, infinity unfolds, quietly, completely, and always within. Every thought you have carries a quiet weight. It moves through the mind like a planet gliding through space, invisible yet powerful enough to draw other thoughts toward it. Some are small, passing sparks that drift and fade, while others are massive, shaping orbits of emotion and memory around them. This is the gravity of thought, not a force to be feared, but a rhythm to be understood, gentle and steady as the pull of the moon on the sea. In the cosmos, gravity holds galaxies together. It binds stars into constellations and worlds into motion. Without it, light would scatter endlessly, and creation would dissolve into chaos. The same is true within you. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your quiet dreams. They form the invisible structure that holds your inner universe together, even when your mind feels scattered. Gravity is there, drawing everything back toward balance. Sometimes, thoughts become heavy. They pull too strongly, keeping you orbiting the same memory, the same worry, again and again. But gravity is not punishment, it is guidance. It reminds you where your attention has gathered and offers the chance to release or reshape its pull. When you notice a thought holding you tightly, breathe into it as though loosening an orbit. You do not have to fight the gravity. You only have to drift slightly wider, giving yourself space to move in calm. Other thoughts are lighter, floating like comets that pass through once and leave behind a faint, luminous trail. They remind you that the mind, like the sky, is not fixed but ever-changing. There are seasons of motion and seasons of rest. Sometimes you will think deeply, drawn inward like a star collapsing into its center. Other times, you will drift outward, radiant and free, carried by curiosity. Both states are natural, both are part of your orbit through awareness. Even now, as you listen, your thoughts are moving, slowly, gracefully, like celestial bodies tracing arcs across an inner horizon. Some merge and form new patterns, while others fade into the background, leaving quiet behind. There is no need to control them. The mind, left undisturbed, knows how to find its own equilibrium. So, as you breathe, imagine your thoughts as stars floating in a gentle gravitational field. Each one shines, each one belongs, and all are connected by invisible lines of care. You do not have to chase them or hold them in place. Simply watch as they move, guided by the soft pull of meaning that holds your universe together. In that still observation, you discover the peace that gravity itself knows, the calm of motion perfectly balanced by rest. If gravity gives form to the universe, then imagination gives it light. It is the inner illumination that reveals what lies beyond sight, the quiet radiance that allows us to see meaning where none seems visible. Just as the stars scatter their brilliance across the night, imagination scatters sparks of possibility across the mind. It turns darkness into wonder, the unknown into invitation. Without it, both cosmos and consciousness would remain unseen, infinite, yet without reflection. Every discovery humanity has ever made began as a flicker of imagination, a small light appearing in the quiet space between curiosity and dream, the idea of flight, of distant worlds, of unseen forces bending light and space. All were born in that glow. Imagination is not escape, it is perception beyond limitation. It does not reject reality, it expands it gently, the way dawn expands the horizon without disturbing the night. Think of how a single image can open a vast world, a child tracing stars on paper, an artist painting galaxies in color, a scientist imagining time as curved rather than straight. These are acts of light, each one revealing hidden dimensions of truth. When you imagine, you are not inventing something separate from existence. You are uncovering what the universe has always contained, waiting for awareness to shine upon it. Light in space travels endlessly. Even when its source fades, so too does imagination. The ideas born in one moment may continue to travel through generations, illuminating minds yet unborn. The telescope, the poem, the theory, the melody, all are vessels of that same luminous current. Imagination never dies, it only changes form, spreading through time like the soft diffusion of starlight. In your own mind, imagination lives quietly, always ready to awaken. It does not demand control or perfection. It only asks for stillness, the calm where new light can appear. When you let your thoughts soften, when you allow daydreams to drift unhurried, imagination begins to rise, like a gentle sunrise behind your awareness. You may see nothing clear at first, only color, tone, or feeling, but in that subtle glow, understanding begins to form. So, as you rest, picture the light of imagination as a soft aurora within your mind, slow, graceful, endlessly changing. It does not blind, it soothes. It reminds you that even in quiet, creativity breathes. You are not separate from that glow, you are part of it, a living reflection of the same energy that makes stars shine. Let it flicker freely as you drift, the calm radiance of thought, lighting your way through the boundless night. Every dream, no matter how fragile, carries the power to shape what is yet to come. In sleep or in waking thought, the act of dreaming reaches forward through time, touching possibilities that do not yet exist. The future begins not with action, but with vision, a soft spark rising within the quiet mind. Just as stars are born from clouds of dust, every human creation begins as a dream floating in stillness. Long before rockets rose or telescopes opened their glass eyes to the sky, someone dreamed of such things. A thought, gentle and uncertain at first, became an image, then a plan, then a reality that changed how the world sees itself. The great journeys of science, art, and compassion all began this way, as quiet imaginings nurtured by patience and faith. Dreams are the seeds of time. Given care, they grow into tomorrow. Even the universe dreams, in its own vast way. Stars collapse and reform, galaxies drift and merge, energy folds into matter, and matter returns to energy again. This continuous transformation is the cosmos dreaming of itself, creating and recreating without end. Humanity is part of that same rhythm. When you dream, you are participating in the universe's infinite desire to become more. Not all dreams are grand or destined to reshape the world. Some are simple, tender, a wish for peace, a moment of understanding, a fleeting hope for connection. They ripple outward, shaping choices, softening hearts, and inspiring others. The future is not built in sudden leaps, but in gentle continuities, a quiet accumulation of dreams carried forward through kindness and curiosity. When you close your eyes tonight, your mind enters that creative current. Images drift across the dark like constellations, forming and dissolving, painting futures you may never consciously remember. But somewhere in that space between awareness and rest, your mind rehearses beauty, testing what might be, what could heal, what might awaken joy. You become both dreamer and architect of unseen worlds. So as you listen, allow your own dreams to wander freely. They do not need direction. They already know where to go. Trust that the thoughts floating through your mind tonight may one day become light for someone else. Every dream you have is part of a greater continuum. A single, endless vision unfolding across minds, hearts, and time. Like starlight, it travels on, touching places you may never see, illuminating futures that have yet to arrive. As the final waves of thought and dream begin to settle, the mind opens toward something larger, an awareness that feels both infinite and intimate. This is the eternal horizon, where imagination dissolves into silence and possibility becomes peace. It is not a destination, but a gentle expansion, like dawn arriving so slowly that night never truly ends, only softens into light. All that you have imagined, all that you have dreamed, now drifts outward, merging with the quiet rhythm of creation itself. The boundary between the inner world and the outer cosmos fades until there is no separation at all. What you once called thought becomes light. What you once called future becomes stillness. The horizon stretches in every direction, not as a line, but as a presence, endless, calm, complete. If you could see it, this horizon would not be an edge but a glow. Faint at first, then deepening like the shimmer of galaxies seen from afar. It is the universe's resting breath, the pause between one heartbeat of existence and the next. Every star, every particle, every passing dream moves toward it, not to vanish, but to join the continuity of everything that has ever been. You, too, are part of that flow. Each thought you release, each moment you surrender, becomes a small wave in that infinite ocean. The horizon does not pull you forward or hold you back. It simply receives. It is the space where all journeys converge, where discovery, imagination, and rest become the same gentle act of being. As you listen now, picture yourself standing at that horizon. Behind you lie galaxies of experience. Memories, stories, and dreams shining softly in the dark. Before you lies quiet, vast, and luminous, waiting without urgency. The wind of time moves lightly here, carrying no weight, no demand. Only invitation. Breathe slowly. With each exhale, feel yourself drift a little closer to that boundless calm. There is no need to reach it. You are already within it. The horizon does not exist at the edge of space. It exists wherever awareness meets peace. It is the eternal moment where curiosity rests, not extinguished, but fulfilled. And as you linger here, in this balance between wonder and surrender, the universe seems to exhale with you. The stars continue their slow rotation, the galaxies their patient dance, and you, a single consciousness within it all. Rest perfectly still, perfectly infinite, perfectly home. In the quiet depth of time, every story, every star, every universe follows a single rhythm: birth, transformation, rest, and renewal. Nothing truly ends. It only changes its form. The same dust that drifts through the cosmos has built planets, oceans, and even the cells that breathe within you. Death in the universe is not loss. It is continuation, an unfolding pattern that repeats softly, endlessly. When a star exhausts its fuel, it does not simply fade. It expands into brilliance, its outer layers drifting outward in a final, luminous breath. What remains becomes dense, silent, and glowing, a white dwarf or a neutron star, still shining, still contributing to the harmony of the cosmos. In some cases, the ending is more dramatic, a supernova, a burst of energy so powerful that it seeds entire regions of space with the ingredients for new worlds. Even in its final moment, the star gives life. Galaxies, too, evolve and merge. Over eons, their graceful spirals intertwine, becoming something new, larger, more luminous, more balanced. The universe itself breathes this same rhythm: expansion and contraction, creation and rest, energy and silence. It is a cosmic heartbeat that pulses through all existence, from the smallest atom to the grandest cluster of stars. Scientists describe possible fates for the universe: a slow cooling into stillness, a collapse back into density, or a gentle drift into endless expansion. But whichever path it follows, the essence remains the same: change without loss, transformation without fear. Even if the stars someday dim, The memory of their light will remain woven into everything that once was, a universe at peace with itself. You, too, are part of this rhythm. The cells in your body follow the same pattern: birth, life, rest, renewal. Thoughts rise and fade, breaths begin and end. Yet, through it all, something constant persists. Awareness itself, watching the flow with quiet acceptance. The end of one moment becomes the beginning of another, and in that simple truth lies infinite comfort. As you reflect on this, imagine yourself floating through the remnants of an ancient star. The dust glows faintly around you, each particle carrying the story of creation. You breathe, and the same atoms that once belonged to a sun become part of you again. There is no end here, only motion, gentle, eternal motion. The universe is not in a hurry to finish its story, and neither are you. Rest within that assurance. Every ending carries a promise that what fades will rise again in another form, another light, another breath. In the stillness beyond the stars, everything continues, softly and forever. When a star's long life reaches its final breath, the universe grows momentarily brighter. For a few timeless moments, it burns with unimaginable power, and then it folds into silence. The collapse of a star is both an ending and a beginning, a return to simplicity after ages of brilliance. To the human mind, it might seem tragic, but in the language of the cosmos, it is peace, a slow exhalation of energy, a surrender back into balance. Inside that collapse, gravity takes its final bow. The core of the star grows impossibly dense, atoms pressed so tightly that their very structure begins to dissolve. In this quiet implosion, matter becomes energy, and space itself curves inward. A neutron star may remain, small, silent, spinning with rhythmic grace. Or, if the star was massive enough, it vanishes entirely, leaving only a shadow of its presence, a black hole. Yet even in disappearance, its influence endures. Gravity remembers. Space bends in tribute. Black holes are not holes at all, but boundaries, regions where time slows until it nearly stops, where light circles endlessly before slipping beyond sight. To many, that sounds like darkness, but perhaps it is simply rest on the grandest scale. Within that stillness, the energy of a star is not gone, it has become pure potential. The universe keeps every note of its song, even those too deep to hear. Scientists describe this collapse with equations and measurements, yet those numbers tell only part of the story. The rest is felt, the awe of something so complete in its surrender, so vast in its quietness, that it feels almost sacred. To watch a star die is to witness the universe breathing in. To see a new one born is to watch it breathe out. The two motions are inseparable, one endless rhythm of transformation. If you could drift near one of these remnants, you would not hear an explosion or a cry. You would hear nothing, a silence deeper than any sound, a pause that holds the echo of creation itself. The light around it bends softly, spiraling inward, painting a halo of calm around infinity's doorway. It is the universe at rest, the same stillness you feel between your own thoughts. So as you listen now, imagine that silence, heavy, infinite, yet gentle, the star's collapse is not its death, it is its return. Just as you return each night to sleep, dissolving thought into dream, so too does the cosmos close its eyes for a time. Nothing is lost in that quiet. Everything is simply waiting to shine again. In the quiet aftermath of a star's collapse, when the last glow has faded into darkness, the universe begins its patient work of renewal. Out of the dust and ashes left behind, new light is born. What once seemed to vanish has merely changed form, scattered across space like seeds waiting for warmth. In the endless stillness, gravity gathers them again, pulling fragments together until they burn once more. It is a reminder written in starlight: nothing truly ends. Everything begins again. The elements that once lived in the heart of a dying star drift for eons through interstellar space. Carbon, oxygen, iron and gold, all carried by invisible winds, mixing with ancient gases. Over time, these clouds thicken, folding inward, warming, igniting. A spark catches, and a new sun awakens. Around it, worlds begin to form from the same material that once belonged to something else. You and I and every living thing are built from this eternal exchange. We are made of reborn light. To see the truth is to feel comfort in the deepest sense. Even when all seems to fade, Creation is quietly at work beneath the surface. Light may travel billions of years, but it never forgets where it came from. It returns in endless forms, in the shimmer of oceans, the warmth of fire, the sparkle of eyes looking toward the night. It is the universe remembering itself, rediscovering beauty in new shapes of existence. Some of that light you see tonight began its journey before Earth even formed. It has crossed unimaginable distances, passing through dust, darkness, and silence, to reach you now. Think of that, the patience of creation, the faith of photons that never stop moving forward. They do not hurry. They simply travel, one quiet step at a time, until their journey becomes your vision. In that way, light and life share the same purpose: to continue, to illuminate, to connect. Each new star, each new moment, is part of a single conversation between what was and what will be. When one brightness fades, another rises to take its place. And in between, the darkness simply rests, holding space for what comes next. So as you breathe, imagine that same renewal happening within you. Every exhale releases the old, every inhale invites the new. You are starlight reborn, carrying the calm persistence of photons across time. The universe's cycle of light lives in your breath, your pulse, your quiet thoughts. There is no final night, only an endless dawn unfolding softly, forever. Since the first instant of creation, the universe has been quietly expanding, a gentle unfolding that continues even now. Every galaxy drifts away from every other, carried on invisible tides of space itself, stretching wider and softer with time. This motion is not violent or hurried. It is as calm as the opening of a flower, as natural as a breath drawn by existence itself. The cosmos is still growing, still becoming, still exploring the boundaries of its own endlessness. Scientists call this expansion acceleration, an invisible energy, perhaps dark energy, pushing the fabric of space apart. But even the words apart and separation don't capture the truth. The galaxies are not abandoning one another. They are simply allowing space to grow between them so that everything can exist freely, peacefully. It is not loss, it is generosity, the universe giving itself room to breathe. If you could watch this unfold from outside time, you would see galaxies drifting like lanterns across a vast and silent sea. Their light never touches, yet each shines in harmony with the others. The greater the distance, the deeper the peace. It is as though the universe understands that stillness is not the absence of motion, but motion in perfect balance. The stars do not cling to what was. They simply continue, trusting that their light will carry their story forward. This expansion also lives within you. Every moment you take to rest, every breath that widens your chest, mirrors the same cosmic rhythm. You, too, expand, not in space but in awareness. Your thoughts stretch, your understanding deepens, your spirit grows lighter. The same force that moves galaxies also moves you, quietly, constantly, guiding you toward openness. Eventually, far into the future, the universe may grow so vast that light from distant galaxies will no longer reach us. The sky will darken, and only nearby stars will remain visible. Yet even then, the expansion will continue, serene and unstoppable. The cosmos will not mourn what fades. It will simply keep creating room for new beginnings, new forms of beauty that exist beyond our sight. And perhaps that is the lesson of this infinite unfolding, that we are meant to expand too, not by leaving behind what we love, but by allowing it to become part of something greater. To live is to widen gently, to let time move through you like light through open space. So as you rest now, feel that same quiet expansion within you, the slow stretch of peace, the widening of calm. The universe is not rushing anywhere, it is merely breathing. And with each breath, you and it grow a little farther, a little freer, a little closer to forever. There will come a moment far beyond counting, when the universe grows old enough to rest. The stars will have finished their long conversations in light. The galaxies will have drifted into great distances of silence. The expansion will continue, slower, softer, until even motion begins to fade. What will remain is not emptiness, but peace, a cosmic slumber where time itself seems to close its eyes. Physicists call this distant age the heat death, a time when all energy is evenly spread, when nothing more can burn or bloom. But perhaps that name is misleading, for what they describe sounds less like death and more like sleep. The cosmos will not end in noise or fire. It will dim gently, as a candle does when it has given all its light. The glow will linger, faint and patient, before dissolving into quiet equilibrium. Imagine that stillness, no ticking of clocks, no pulse of stars, only the soft hum of existence balanced perfectly with rest. In that silence, even gravity grows slow, even light takes its final bow. The fabric of space stretches until it sighs into stillness, like an ocean becoming calm after eternity's last wave. It is not sorrowful. It is serene, the universe at peace with its own vast story. If you listen closely, you can feel echoes of that same stillness within you. There are moments when time loosens, when a single breath feels endless, when the present expands so wide that past and future dissolve. Those moments are glimpses of that universal sleep, where awareness exists without effort, where being and rest become the same. Perhaps, after eons of creation and expansion, the universe deserves such rest. It has spun stars, nurtured worlds, and kindled countless forms of life. To sleep is to honor all that has been. And in that great stillness, something beautiful happens. Potential gathers again, quietly, invisibly, like seeds waiting beneath the soil of eternity. The end becomes preparation for beginning once more. As you picture this cosmic rest, allow it to settle in your own thoughts. The universe does not rush toward silence. It drifts there gently, trusting the rhythm that has guided it since the first light. You too can trust that rhythm, the quiet pulse that connects every breath you take to the slow heartbeat of creation. Time does not truly stop. Let the measure of seconds fade. Let the mind float free of clocks and calendars. In this stillness, you join the universe in its sleep, infinite, complete, and utterly calm. In the long silence after time has slowed, when the stars have dimmed and galaxies have drifted beyond one another's sight, something gentle remains, a faint glow that refuses to vanish. It is not a sun or a flame, but the memory of all the light that has ever been. It moves through the vast calm like a breath through sleep, soft and eternal. This is the final light, the heartbeat of existence that never truly fades. Even in darkness, energy hums quietly, whispering across the emptiness. Every photon that ever shone, every wave that ever rippled, continues somewhere transformed, but not lost. The universe keeps its promise to itself, that nothing which has existed will ever disappear completely. The final light is not brightness, it is presence, the subtle warmth of being that endures after all form has gone. If you could stand within that stillness, you would not see a void. You would see a gentle shimmer, like the faint afterglow behind closed eyes. It would not demand attention, it would simply exist, as calm and inevitable as breathing. The cosmos, after all its transformations, would have returned to simplicity. No beginning, no end, only quiet continuity. Perhaps this light is not meant to be seen, but felt, the residue of every kindness, every discovery, every spark of awareness that ever illuminated the dark. It is the echo of life's patience, the glow of curiosity that never truly went out. In that radiance, all stories coexist, the rise of galaxies, the fall of stars, the laughter of oceans, the dreams of beings who once gazed at the sky. Every moment is still there, woven into the gentle hum of the whole. And just as the universe rests in this glow, so too does the spirit find its own final light, the calm clarity that comes after every thought, every striving, every question. It is the still point where being and knowing are the same, where there is no need to reach or remember. The final light asks nothing. It simply reminds you that everything, at its core, is peace. So, as you rest here, imagine that glow surrounding you, endless, soft, unbroken. It is the universe breathing in its sleep, holding all things in quiet balance. You are not apart from it. You are within it, made of the same eternal shimmer. The cycle is complete. The stars have fallen silent, but their light remains, within you, within everything, forever. After drifting through the endless quiet of the cosmos, you begin to feel a familiar pull, a soft gravity guiding you home. The stars, once distant companions, now seem to draw closer, not as destinations but as memories. Their light, after traveling through infinity, settles once more upon the blue curve of Earth. It is here, beneath the night sky, that the journey returns to where it began. The universe, in all its vastness, gently folds itself back into the comfort of a single world. Our world, below the oceans, shimmer faintly in moonlight. Clouds drift like slow thoughts across the sleeping continents. Cities glow softly in the dark, their lights scattered like tiny constellations mirroring the heavens above. For all its noise and motion by day, the Earth at night is tranquil, breathing quietly beneath its blanket of atmosphere, turning steadily through space. It feels almost as though the planet itself is dreaming, wrapped in the same stillness that moves between the stars. As you draw nearer, you can sense the fragile balance that sustains everything here. The whisper of wind through trees, the pulse of waves against shore, the invisible currents of warmth that circle through the air. Each part of it is a reflection of the universe you've just traveled through, only smaller, closer, and infinitely more tender. The same laws that sculpt galaxies also shape a falling leaf, a human breath, a moment of silence shared between two hearts. When astronauts look back upon Earth, they often describe a feeling they cannot quite name, a mixture of awe, love, and humility. They see not borders or divisions, but one luminous sphere, floating in darkness, held by nothing but grace. From afar, the planet glows like a living lantern, fragile and eternal all at once. You do not need to travel to space to feel this. You need only look up. The sky above you is the same window through which all of humanity has ever gazed, searching for its reflection in the stars. Now, as you stand once more beneath that ancient dome of light, you realize the truth. The universe was never somewhere else. It has always been here, woven into every sound, every thought, every breath. The cosmos is not out there, it's within you, and within every quiet moment you have ever known. So breathe deeply. Feel the night settle around you, familiar and vast. The journey outward has brought you home, not just to Earth, but to yourself. Above, the stars continue to shine, just as they always have, whispering softly that you belong to them, and they to you. After crossing galaxies and drifting through endless light, the quiet beauty of Earth feels almost miraculous. Everything here moves with a subtle rhythm, water circling through clouds and rivers, trees breathing in silence, tides rising and falling as if guided by a patient hand. The world does not need to announce its wonder. It simply exists, steady and serene. In its stillness, it holds all the complexity of the cosmos, shaped into softness you can touch. Look closely, and you can see the reflection of the universe in every detail. The spiral of a seashell mirrors the arms of a galaxy. The veins of a leaf trace the same fractal patterns that shape lightning and rivers. Even the pulse within your wrist beats to the same mathematics that governs the orbits of moons. Nothing on Earth stands apart from what lies beyond. It is the same creation, folded smaller, carried closer. At night, the world breathes differently. The noise of the day fades, replaced by the hush of wind, the song of distant water, the whisper of living things resting. You can almost feel the planet turning beneath you, a slow rotation so constant and gentle that you have lived your entire life inside its motion without noticing. It is the purest kind of movement, effortless, balanced, eternal. Sometimes we forget that Earth itself is a traveler, gliding through the dark with quiet grace. Every sunrise is not just a beginning but proof that our world still spins, still orbits, still dances through space with the same harmony that governs every star. The blue of the oceans, the gold of the deserts, the white shimmer of polar ice. All of it moves together in one seamless rhythm, one continuous breath. When you walk outside beneath the sky, you are walking across stardust, cooled and shaped by time. The soil beneath your feet was forged in the heart of stars that burned long before humanity was born. The air you breathe has traveled through countless lungs, leaves, and oceans, circling endlessly through life and renewal. You are part of that cycle, a quiet expression of the Earth's own heartbeat. So pause now and listen. The rustle of trees, the faint hum of night insects, the sound of your own breath. They are all reminders that beauty does not need to be distant or grand. It is here, surrounding you, waiting patiently for your attention. The same awe you once felt among the stars can be found in the stillness of your own world. Earth is the universe whispering, "You are home." All of life moves in rhythm, a slow and patient pulse that echoes through every living thing. From the spin of planets to the beat of a heart, the universe flows between two states, motion and rest. Neither is superior, neither complete without the other. Life is not only in the act of doing, but in the grace of pausing. Rest is the breath the world takes between songs. Listen, and you can hear it everywhere. The tides rise and fall, the inhale and exhale of wind, the shifting of light between dawn and dusk. Even your own body follows this cycle, a rhythm written into your cells long before you were born. Your heart beats, then pauses. Your breath flows, then stills. It is the same pattern that governs galaxies and rivers, the same universal metronome of expansion and return. In moments of rest, the earth renews itself. Forests sleep beneath snow. Oceans quiet their surface. Animals retreat into burrows and nests, waiting for the next warmth. Nothing in nature forces itself to move without end. The seasons themselves remind us that stillness is not failure, but preparation, a time for gathering strength, for healing, for simply being. The night exists to balance the day, just as silence exists to give meaning to sound. Human life, too, follows this rhythm, though we sometimes forget. We rush, we build, we reach, and in doing so, we overlook the quiet spaces that allow everything to hold together. Yet even when we resist it, rest will find us, in sleep, in reflection, in moments when the world slows enough for us to notice the gentle continuity of being alive. Imagine the world at this moment, billions of hearts beating, oceans turning, clouds drifting. Some things are moving quickly, others barely at all. Yet together they form a single harmony, the sound of existence balancing itself. You are part of that song, a single note in a vast and beautiful composition. So as you listen now, let your breath match that universal rhythm. Feel the expansion as you inhale, the release as you exhale. This is the universe's oldest dance, energy flowing, resting, flowing again. You do not have to control it, you only have to remember it. Life's rhythm is already inside you, steady as gravity, calm as the turning earth. And in that awareness, peace unfolds, not as escape, but as return. The universe rests through you, breathes through you, and dreams through you. Every pause you take is a reflection of cosmic balance, the eternal harmony between motion and rest. Every atom in your body has lived many lives. The iron in your blood once burned in the heart of a star. The calcium in your bones formed in the quiet collapse of another. The carbon that shapes your thoughts was born in light older than Earth itself. You are not only part of the universe, you are its memory made alive, a continuation of its story written in breath and pulse. If you close your eyes and listen inward, you may feel that memory stirring. It does not speak in words but in warmth. The subtle hum of being, the quiet assurance that you belong to something vast and kind. The same energy that kindles suns also sustains the spark within your chest. The same particles that traveled through nebulae now dance in the rhythm of your heartbeat. You carry the universe not as an idea, but as a living truth. Think of how stars live and die. They are born from clouds of dust, shine for eons, and then return their substance to the dark so that new stars may form. It is the same with every living thing. The cycle continues endlessly, a song of transformation that never stops playing. You, too, are part of that song. Your thoughts, your breath, your small acts of kindness ripple outward, shaping the universe as surely as gravity does. There is comfort in knowing that nothing within you is truly separate from what lies beyond. The light in your eyes is not different from the light that fills the Milky Way. The rhythm of your breath is not different from the slow breathing of space itself. When you look at the night sky, you are looking at your own reflection, scattered across time, shining back at you through distance and memory. Science calls it stardust, but you can feel it as belonging. It is what connects you to every person, every creature, every blade of grass catching sunlight. We all share the same origin, the same quiet ancestry of fire and silence. Beneath differences of form or name, we are one luminous thread in the endless weave of existence. So, as you rest now, let that remembrance bring peace. You do not need to reach the stars to touch them. They are already within you. Each heartbeat is a spark from that first light. Each breath, a continuation of the universe's gentle unfolding. You are not apart from creation. You are creation, remembering itself in perfect stillness. You do not need to travel through galaxies to find infinity. It is already here, present in the smallest things, in a drop of water trembling on a leaf, in the slow curl of smoke from a candle, in the quiet rhythm of your breath. Each ordinary moment is a doorway to the infinite, waiting only for your attention to open it. The cosmos hides in simplicity, revealing its vastness through small and tender acts of being. Watch the way sunlight filters through the branches of a tree. The beams fall in gentle patterns, scattered by leaves that move with the wind. The light that warms your face began its journey in the heart of the sun 8 minutes ago, but its story started billions of years before that, when hydrogen first learned how to burn. You feel its warmth and call it ordinary daylight. Yet within that warmth lies the entire history of creation. Listen to the sound of your own breathing. The air entering your lungs once moved through forests, through oceans, through countless other lives. Each breath connects you to the world, a continuous exchange of energy between yourself and everything around you. Inhaling, you take in the memory of stars. Exhaling, you give yourself back to the rhythm of the earth. It is so simple that you might forget it, yet so sacred that it contains the essence of eternity. Everyday gestures, a smile, a word, a glance toward the sky, ripple farther than you know. They are small acts of gravity, pulling other lives into gentle orbits. The kindness you offer is a form of light, traveling outward in waves of cause and connection. You may never see where it goes, but it never disappears. Like starlight, it continues on, finding new places to shine. The infinite is not distant. It is woven into every familiar thing. The cup you hold, the scent of rain, the silence between heartbeats, all are made of the same atoms that shaped the first stars. When you notice them fully, you awaken to the miracle that nothing is truly ordinary. Existence itself is wonder in quiet disguise. So, as you rest, allow the boundaries between vast and small to fade. The galaxy and the grain of sand, the heartbeat and the supernova, the breath and the cosmic wind, all belong to one continuum of being. You are not apart from that. You are it, living gently, endlessly, here and now. There comes a moment after every journey when motion fades into peace. The traveler returns, the stars quiet, and the mind opens like the calm surface of an evening sea. This is the final rest, not an ending, but a homecoming. You have traveled through galaxies and dreams, through the pulse of atoms and the hush of infinity, and now you arrive where you began, within the universe, and the universe within you. In this stillness, there is no boundary between your breath and the wind, between your heartbeat and the turning of the earth. The air moves gently through you, the same air that once circled mountains and drifted across oceans. It does not belong to you, and yet you are part of its rhythm. Every inhale is the cosmos drawing closer. Every exhale is the cosmos letting go. If you listen deeply, you can hear the faint echo of all that has ever existed. The stars whisper through your veins, the oceans hum in your blood, the quiet gravity of the planet holds you in its invisible embrace. There is nothing you must do to belong. You already are belonging, endlessly, perfectly, effortlessly. The self is not lost here. It is expanded, softened into the fabric of everything. Scientists once called this state entropy, balance, equilibrium, but there are gentler names too: peace, silence, rest. The same law that allows stars to shine also allows them to sleep, and in that sleep, all things are renewed. You are not falling away from life. You are sinking into it, fully, calmly, without resistance. Imagine now the whole of existence breathing with you, galaxies turning like slow thoughts, time flowing like a quiet river, light dissolving into warmth. In that breath, there is no separation, no before or after, no above or below. There is only presence. This is what it means to become the universe, not to vanish, but to realize that you were never apart from it. Every cell, every memory, every flicker of awareness is a continuation of the same song that began with the first light. To rest completely is to let the melody continue without needing to conduct it. So let yourself drift now, beyond thought. The journey is complete. The stars will keep shining, the earth will keep turning, and you, luminous and eternal, will continue with them. The universe is resting through you. The universe never truly ends. It simply changes its rhythm. When one song fades, another begins, blending so gently that the silence between them feels like part of the melody. So too does your journey continue, not in movement or destination, but in quiet awareness. The dream does not stop when you wake. It changes form, becoming the calm beneath your thoughts. the warmth behind your breath, the still glow that lingers after wonder. Tonight, you have wandered through galaxies and oceans of time. You have witnessed the birth of stars, the quiet fall of light, the long patience of existence. Yet as vast as those things are, they were never far away. They were reflections of the same infinite calm that lives within you. The space between stars and the space within your heart are made of the same silence. You have not been traveling through the universe. You have been remembering it. As you rest now, the cosmos continues its gentle unfolding. New stars ignite in distant regions of space, while others fade with grace. Planets spin, comets glide, and light journeys endlessly toward new eyes, new worlds, new stories. Somewhere, perhaps in another age, someone else will look up at the same stars and feel the same quiet awe. The dream will continue through them and through all who pause long enough to listen. You too are part of that continuation. Every moment of stillness you create becomes a small point of light in the greater fabric of being. Every breath of peace you take radiates outward, invisible but real, adding balance to the whole. The universe does not require grand gestures, only presence, only awareness. To exist gently is to contribute to its harmony. So, as you drift now, let go of beginnings and endings. The story you have heard, the images you have seen, are not closing. They are circling softly, folding into themselves like the night into dawn. The dream continues, carried by the same eternal motion that guides the stars and tides. You are both the dreamer and the dream. The universe breathes through you, and you through it. Somewhere within that breath, new light is forming, ready to begin again. Rest there, float in the calm between thoughts. Feel the quiet hum of infinity moving gently around you. The journey has not ended. It has simply found peace, and in that peace, all things, stars, worlds, hearts, and minds, continue to shine.